I don't know, I just feel like starting a little earlier today. I just really do. I can't wait to see you guys. So hold on 1 second. In 3, 2, 4, 9. Hey, hi, how are you? Yeah, okay, hair looks all right. Okay, style, wearing my Columbo shirt. Good times. How you doing? Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to the day of the week where we look down the barrel of the rest of the week. And it used to mean something. There used to be something called a weekend. You didn't just have this kind of morphy blob of time where you would occasionally look at a clock and go, am I late for something? Is there anything to be late for anymore? And yet here we are. And so this Friday and Saturday, I will be on the road because I will be at the Alameda Comedy Club in Alameda, California, which is outside of San Francisco and Oakland, that kind of area. Alameda Comedy. I can say it. I'll say it. AlamedaComedy.com. And you can watch it virtually. So, like everything else I do, it will be mega streamed as you do. So, very excited to actually get in front of a crowd again. Now, having done a couple of the Zoom shows, many of them at this point, and being a master of them, quite frankly, and then going to, like, Flappers and maybe one other place to do these kind of, like, 9 people are there gag kind of shows where it's like, yeah, there's an audience, but is there? That kind of thing. I mean, I'm glad to see the folks, but, it's hardly an audience when you're like, oh, 6 people I know. This is great. You might as well be just performing in front of your family. But having done a few of those, it is very different than a regular full club of audience members. It's just, it ain't the Zoom show, but it isn't a real show. And there's this sweet spot. Hi, everybody. Yes, the Chuckle Hut. There's a sweet spot between real shows and Zoom that seems to be this kind of like, there's about 65 people here at sparse tables pushed way back from the stage. This is going to be one of those kind of shows, so I'm going to need you there. Just knowing you're there will give me the emotional and comedic fortitude to carry out the show. So, AlamedaComedy.com. Look, I did an ad. Can't stop lying. I'm so proud. And welcome to our new patrons, Gino and Janine and Gloria. Thank you guys so much for becoming patrons near the tail end of yesterday's show, and it's just a beautiful thing. It took a little while for it to show up in my little feed over here, and I was like, look at that. So that's extraordinary. And we got a lot to get to today, so I'll just jump straight in. We obviously, in that ridiculous podcast launch episode thing with Lisa Booth yesterday, ate up a good portion of time and never got to deal with the fact that Greg Kelly had Trump on, and it was like coming home for Greg. It really was. Is this the first? I can't tell what the first part and the second part. I don't know why they divided it up, other than that perhaps they edited out some craziness, or he just went on one of his kind of lazy rants, and they're like, snip it. So we'll see. We may not have it in the right order, but I kind of don't care. Would it matter? Would it ruin the cohesion of his argument? Seriously.
Again, we are thrilled to have...
By the way, he almost started his Trump impersonation just then. Did you see that?
With us, President Donald Trump, 45th President of the United States, and who knows, maybe a future President of the United States, too.
I know. He won't be. You're welcome. Glad to help, Greg.
President Trump, welcome back. How are you?
Hello, Greg. I'm great. Thank you very much.
I asked you the last time.
Why do we always use the same picture of you where you're like, why is someone taking a picture of me?
Wondering if you're thinking maybe a little bit more.
His volume's low? Okay, let's see. Maybe it's turned up here. Let's see. How about I bring this up to here and then me down a touch, and hopefully we'll meet in the middle.
About it. You see, the country seems to be coming apart, especially at the border.
No, it isn't. There's a challenge at the border. It's not a crisis. I know the news wants you to go, oh my God, but no.
Have you given any thought?
It's seasonal. It's up during the spring. it goes down in the summer and the fall.
Any more thought to 2024 and you?
Yeah, please give some more thought to it.
Well, they're destroying our
Why'd you go blank screen there for a second?
country. No, I haven't, because it's
Because the country's going to be destroyed by then. Who wants to run to be president of a destroyed country?
a long time away, unfortunately, but they're destroying our country. And, look, we just can't let these things continue to happen.
Well, but you're apparently not going to run. You haven't thought about that as your way of stopping these things from continuing to happen?
The border, whether it's the border or energy independence. Look at what's happening with energy. Gasoline prices are going up like nobody thought would be possible.
Like nobody thought would be possible? I think pretty much everybody thought they would go possible, that would be possible, that after a year of almost no one traveling, once traveling started again, there would be money to be made. I mean, it's almost as if the government doesn't control the price of gasoline.
Going down, they were at a level that they'd never seen before, and now they're
Is it up?
going up.
I see. It went down to a level they've never seen before because no one's really lived through a pandemic in the modern era, because the last one we had, people didn't have cars.
We're making Russia and Saudi Arabia and all the Middle East countries and others, and of course the company Burisma. You know what Burisma is?
No, I don't know what. I think it's
the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
We're making them rich.
Oh, all right.
Burmese.
Way to go.
Burmese.
All right.
And we've become.
Why? Why would we be making? And by the way, if we're making Ukrainian oil and gas rich, that's at the expense of Russia. How can you spend 4 years with top secret level clearance to look at all this stuff and still come away like a noob?
Becoming less and less energy independent, and within 3 or 4 months we won't.
Yeah, within 3 months we won't be getting any gas through the Ukrainian pipeline to the United States. What?
Be energy independent. It's a very, very sad thing. And then the border, you look at that,
it's just sad.
Incredible to watch.
Joe Biden has not yet visited the border.
Look at that. It's a slat fence.
He said he might get there at some point today.
He's autographing the wall.
You saw him take that terrible tumble on Friday. I was surprised. He went down not once, not twice, but 3 times. Almost no mention of it yesterday on the Sunday shows.
Yeah, nobody mentioned that he dusted off his knee and went, God damn, and then walked up the rest of the stairs like a grown-up.
I know that they gave you a hard time once when you walked a little bit slowly.
A little slowly? So you're just not going to talk about the time that he went like he was like a dance move to keep from falling down with 3 steps? All right.
Were you
Are you concerned that maybe?
shocked as I was, or
Oh, shocking. It was shocking, guys.
maybe you weren't? Maybe you expected something like
Maybe
that.
expected after seeing Gerald Ford eat shit and people going, oh, he's fine.
To happen.
I expected it. Actually, when I went down the ramp at West Point, which was like a sheet of ice with no railing, no nothing, great planning, I wanted to go inch by inch because the last thing I wanted to do is
Wait, please, they're playing the video. Please tell everyone how you ran the last 10 feet.
take a tumble like Biden did. No, that tumble was terrible, and it was, it wasn't really 1, it was 3.
That's because
And it wasn't
it looks like, this is why I don't wear leather shoes, folks.
mentioned, for the most part, wasn't
Who cares?
mentioned in the lamestream, as we call it, lamestream media.
Who's we? You and Sarah Palin? Lamestream media. Oh. I mean, it's like I'm doing an I love the.
Wasn't mentioned.
No, no one mentioned lamestream media.
It's terrible.
It is terrible that somebody can. I mean, imagine if his mouth did that.
Free health care for illegal. Look.
But basically, that's what. If you had to basically describe Biden, his slip on the stairs, it sounds like this.
Free health care for illegal. Look.
like the whole thing is incredible.
It's incredible. I'm glad you brought it up.
There's no longer freedom of the press.
You mentioned once the 25th.
What was that edit? What are you cutting? What? And by the way, the name of this video, holy shit. The name of this, Trump reacts to Biden's fall. I expected it. You what? I mean, Greg's looking at Trump like I look at Trump, so I mean, this is a letdown. What was, seriously, why the big edit?
Amendment. People.
Why are you cutting, Greg, I thought you loved Trump. Why are you cutting his 47-minute waste of time down to 6-minute chunks?
People tried to say that there was consideration about using that against you. I thought that was just one of many unfair attacks against you. You brought it up and you thought it was something that Joe Biden would have to worry about. Do you think he's got to be even more worried?
Oh, well, thank you, Beth. Hooray! She became, I think, a yearly patron. Thanks so much.
About that right now, the way
Right now.
Kamala Harris
Kamala.
has been lurking and almost seems to be calling the
Lurking. You know, the way people of color do. They don't stand nearby in a well-lit room as the vice president. They lurk.
the shots.
You know, what's a good example of lurking? Like when a bloated orange fiberglass-haired weirdo buys a teen beauty contest so that he can sneak into the dressing room because he owns the thing and inspect the girls' mouths. That's like lurking. That's what he means by lurking, in case you know what lurking meant.
You know, he called her President Harris the other day.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, a lot of people said when they brought it out, because it takes a while to institute, and when they brought it out,
Oh, this is the 25th Amendment thing.
they said they really mean it for Biden. Just
No, you said that.
in case he gets in. So we'll see. Look, I hope that's a very serious thing, and I hope that never happens. But it's certainly there's something going on. It's crazy. What's happening is crazy. And
Can we use the 25th on him now? Like after? This is amazing. I hope not, but it's crazy.
wonder whether or not all of the things that he's signing, whether or not he understands what he's signing.
Yeah, he explains them.
Because this is worse than Bernie Sanders at its worst point.
Worse than Bernie Sanders at its worst point. I did not know that Bernie Sanders' pronoun was it. It's a weird way to find out.
We never thought this could happen. Bernie Sanders on steroids wouldn't.
Thanks for lurking. Wait, hold on. Who said that? Yeah. Oops. I scrolled down too fast. Benny Loco's lurking, waiting for people to give their thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Be signing what this guy is signing.
So let's talk a little bit about some endorsements from you. I know you like Jody Heiss in Georgia. He's a congressman.
Great.
He's running against Mr. Raffensperger for Secretary of State down there. You know, some people think you're taking revenge on those who opposed you or made
Where would they get that idea?
your life
Because he doesn't even know the name of anybody else who's running unless there's a list in front of him. But he was like, that guy.
more difficult after the election.
Well, Raffensperger has not done a good job.
No, honestly, to say the least.
And the governor has been really missing in action. It's very sad.
Missing in action? How is he missing in action? He actively told you basically to piss off.
Because I gave the governor an endorsement, and it won him the election. Because
Yeah, he's still in office. He's still got his job. That's weird.
then we beat Stacey Abrams together, and that was one. Jody Heiss is a fantastic.
What is the edit here? Greg, what's happening? Why are you cutting his ramble down? Are we to assume there's an edit every time he says something that will get Newsmax in legal trouble? Because I'm going to guess that's what it is. Because I'm going to guess that he was like, right then he just dipped into how fraudulent the election was in Georgia and that it was stolen and all that stuff. And because they've been served, they had to edit it.
Fantastic man, by the way, highly respected congressman.
Yeah, he looks great. I mean, that's the dude. He's totally respected, highly respected by a lot of people.
That he's doing this as a patriot, I found out about it. I just found out about it. But that he's doing this as a patriot's an amazing thing.
What, that he's running for Secretary of State? Yeah, it's amazing. Nobody runs for Secretary of State, really.
He's giving up a total positive seat. I mean, he would win it very easily, always has. And he's giving up a very great...
You mean he's giving up his representative salary for the state of Georgia for the higher pay? He's trying to get more money because he knows he'd never be elected senator. So he's running for Secretary of State because it pays better. You know, patriotism.
Seat in Congress in order to do this because he loves the state of Georgia. He loves Georgia.
Mr. President, Fox...
And he can't live in Georgia and run for Secretary of State of Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Arizona and help stop the steal.
News political analyst Karl Rove is hosting a fundraiser at the end of the month for Adam Kinzinger, a never-Trumper congressman from Illinois. How do you feel about that? That this the Fox analyst is hosting something? I know you're no fan of his; he's no fan of yours.
So I'm gonna, Greg, could you leading the witness, Your Honor? Could just tell us what his answers were, because I don't need to hear his shit anymore.
Well, he shouldn't be a Fox analyst.
That's true. That's a good point. He shouldn't be a Fox analyst because the quality there is so high. You don't want to stoop down to that level.
He shouldn't be a Fox analyst.
No, you should never have anybody called an analyst who George W. Bush called Turd Blossom, I believe was his nickname.
He was a fan of mine. He was a fan when he came to the office trying to get the 5G. No, he was always a fan of mine, but I didn't give it to him. And
sorry, he was going to get. All right, I don't know. He's probably lobbying for something.
Lobbied for it, and he fought for it. I don't know if he registered it to lobby. Maybe somebody should check that out.
Totally sick Farah on him. Yeah,
but he lobbied for it. But no, Karl Rove, if he's going for that guy over anybody else, frankly, then he's not a Republican. He's not a good Republican.
Really, by trying to make sure that seat, which would stay in Republican hands, even though he doesn't like you, he votes with Republicans every single time. Karl Rove trying to keep him in there instead of a Democrat winning the seat, because you can't primary one of your own people without it doing some damage that might give Democrats a toe. You know what? I don't know why I'm helping.
Look, he's been a rhino for a long time. Bad news.
Mr. President,
I hope people don't contribute. You know who's going to give to that? Democrats. You'll have Democrats give. The Republicans aren't going to give. Democrats are going to give. Between Karl Rove and Kinzinger, Republicans are they're not going to give, but plenty of Democrats will give. So we'll see how they do. He's going to have some good competition.
No, he's not. What kind of edit was that?
More from President Trump.
Okay, so that was the beginning of it. Let's go to the second half. And by the way, I know they cut the whole interview down and edited out all the shit that would get them in legal trouble, and I'm pretending to be upset. I'm not. Like, we don't need to hear that, like, that broken record again. Okay, here we go. Back to the tail end of this.
President Trump, part 2.
By the way, part 2. Jog on.
There's this new Homeland Security Secretary named Mayorkas.
Yes, that doesn't sound American.
Saw him on the Sunday shows yesterday. He was weirdly smiling at times.
Weirdly smiling? Do it for us, Greg. What was the weird smile? What did it look like? What was that again? What is the blackout moment that they're doing on this stuff?
Show you a little portion right
Hold
now.
On.
Just take...
What is a what? Hold on. I have to see at the beginning of their videos, but I mean beyond the weird edits.
There's this new Homeland Security Secretary named Mayorkas. I saw him on the Sunday shows yesterday. He was weirdly smiling at times. I want to show you a little portion right now. Just take a listen.
The entire system was dismantled by the prior administration.
Right.
There was a system in place in both Republican and Democratic administrations that was torn down.
That is a weird smile. Like to not smile and have someone else call it a smile? That's weird.
In the Trump administration, and that is why the challenge is more acute than it ever has been before.
He was on all the Sunday shows.
It's almost like he has the job.
Blaming everything on you and your administration when we know, any objective observer knows that this is on Joe Biden's watch and what he did.
Yep. Just like they know I got the vaccine, I got the FDA to do it in 9 months instead of 5 years, or they wouldn't have gotten it.
Again, with the 5 years.
You wouldn't have had it ever.
You wouldn't have had it ever if we used the standard of 1870.
The vaccine.
It would have taken us 70 years to have it if it had happened 70 years ago.
And they said he had the vaccine. But when Biden on January 20th said, no, we don't have a vaccine, he doesn't even know he had the shot in December. No, we had the vaccine. Now we have actually 4 companies and probably another one coming out soon. All done during my administration, done by...
Well, yeah, so was the deaths. Yeah, that's kind of important. It kind of... Also what happened during your administration was, it's pretty much over. It's 14... going down to 0. We'll be open by Easter. That was also during your administration.
By me, to a large extent, because I got FDA to do things that, frankly, they didn't know they were capable of doing.
Yes. A lot of them have had to take yoga classes just to not pull a hip.
And we got it approved in 5 months, and then they try and take credit for that, too. That's going to save the world, frankly. If we didn't have that.
Donald Trump saved the world, except everybody who died who didn't have to.
This would be another Spanish flu from 1917.
Son of a bitch. Can someone just put a Post-it note that says 1918 in front of him? Just please.
But no, I watched him, and I think that he is... got to be grossly incompetent for him to say that, because we had the border, and you know that. We had the border in perfect shape. I made deals. I wasn't giving any money to the Triangle. I wasn't, the 3 countries.
Yeah, didn't we hear about nonstop caravans?
If you take a look at, and not including Mexico, and with Mexico I was saying tariffs. We're going to tariff if you allow this to happen. And we had it really stopped. But Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, we had... we gave them $500 million a year for
700
years and years and years, and I stopped it because they wouldn't accept the MS-13 gang members back. They said, "Nope, you keep them."
Oh my God, the same shit from yesterday.
We don't want them. They wouldn't take them back.
They took back 118,000 in just 1 year from the Obama administration. What 9 guys are you talking about? Do you think he tried? Because they had Hispanic names, they tried to take American MS-13 gang members, like born here, to countries that they were related, and tried to drop them off there, and those countries went, those are U.S. citizens, no. And then the next time they sent a plane, it was with actual, Brazilians or Guatemalans or El Salvadorans, and they took those people, and they're like, look, we won.
They wouldn't take them back for anybody, frankly, including me at the beginning. I said, do we pay him anything? $500 million. I said, stop payment. As soon as I stopped payment, Greg, they said, we'd love to have your MS-13 people back. Please send them back to our country immediately. We would love to have them in our country for the rest of their lives. So anyway, it all...
Yeah, that's how it went down.
Worked out well. And with Mexico, I said, we're going to tariff the cars. They took 32% of our car business over...
Same shit from yesterday.
...for the years with foolish leadership and... on our behalf. And I tell you what,
You mean in the car companies?
The president of Mexico is a great guy. We have a great relationship.
But I used tariffs to do it because he wouldn't do it because he likes me.
They gave us 28,000 soldiers on the southern border.
Because you threatened them with tariffs.
Our southern border. And it stopped it cold. Between that and now...
the pandemic stopped it cold between that and COVID?
Now we have almost 500 miles of wall up. And they should finish the wall. It'll take them a month. It took me 2.5 years to get it started because they had so many lawsuits by the Democrats, Congress, Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. She's crazy. And I had so many
That's why I called her Crazy Nancy, because she's crazy.
Lawsuits, but we won them. And the wall is almost complete. We did almost 500 miles, and it's had a huge impact.
I love Greg's cool story bro face.
And then for him to say, and we have another policy, stay in Mexico. When they come in, we don't let them in our country. They stay in Mexico until...
Yeah, which works really well with unaccompanied minors. What could be more Christian?
They get approved, let's put it that way. But not too many were getting approved. And you think it's bad now? Wait till you see what happens in the months to come.
Okay.
Wait till you see what's going
I'm waiting.
to happen during the summer. You'll have numbers like you've never seen before. They already say it's the worst in 20 years, but
It's probably a lot more, probably 60 years, 100 years, probably ever.
you'll have numbers like you've never seen
Probably since the Alamo, I guess.
before, and it's going to be a disaster for our country. They're destroying our country. And then to watch this guy who doesn't have a clue, to watch this guy get up.
Oh, the guy who has, he means Biden. Or does he mean Mayorkas? I think he means Mayorkas, because, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Trump's fault. They like to blame everything on Trump, and I guess it works, but they said, let's blame Trump.
Look at that edit.
No, he's incompetent. He's incompetent. And just
You mean because he hasn't solved it in the 20 days he's been in the position?
mark my words.
I'm marking them. Let's mark his words, shall we?
Take a look at what's going to happen over the next fairly long period of time. Because
Okay. Take a look at what's going to happen over the next fairly long period of time. Oh, my God.
they might not be capable of stopping it. It's going to be something when you take a look, even now, you take a look at the thousands of people that are pouring up from South America, Latin America,
Either one.
pouring up
They're pouring up. It's totally true. I mean, just
into our country, and they don't even stop them. They just let them walk right in. They've totally lost
They don't? How are there so many of them on the Mexican side of the border then?
control of the southern border.
They must just be it's like a human Pez dispenser.
We had it under total control,
Totally.
as you know.
I mean, obviously it helps that the virus was killing tons of people and nobody wanted to gather and wait.
And by the way, they're banning media from the border. Hey, by the way, did you
Yeah, ask him about that.
see the little skirmish between Dr. Fauci and Senator Paul? Senator Paul has
did.
concerns that once you're vaccinated, Dr. Fauci says you should still wear a mask. He calls that theatrics. When you were coming up, when you were Operation Warp Speed, did you
Oh, God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. When he does that, I should be ready, but I should have expected it.
Captain's log.
Okay.
ever think we'd have to wear masks after we were vaccinated?
I got along with him actually very well. I liked him, but he was basically a salesman.
That was an edit.
And he throws the baseball better than he predicts. That I can tell you about it. And throwing the baseball hasn't been so good. And had I listened to Fauci, we would have never had masks. We would have never banned China. We would have never banned Europe. I banned China, and he was totally against it. I banned Europe when Italy and all the places were having such problems.
No, you didn't.
France, I banned them way early. We would have lost hundreds of thousands of people more.
We did lose hundreds of thousands. Well, look at this edit.
In 1917,
What the hell is that?
you had a thing called the Spanish flu where they left it with
Ugh. Did he said 1917, didn't he? He did.
of people more. In 1917, you
Son of a...
early. We would have lost hundreds of thousands of people more. In 1917, you had a thing called the Spanish flu where they lost between nobody knows, but between
Lost between nobody knows. Between 50 and 100? Is he going to say that again?
50 and 100 million
Oh, good Lord.
people.
In the United States alone. Probably all in Kansas City.
And I'll tell you what, this
What?
would have done that too. This was
We're still dealing with it.
this was
Is.
and is just a
Thank you. Thank you. Finally listen.
horror show.
Finally,
The China virus, call it whatever you want. The
COVID-19. It's called COVID-19.
China virus
It's not the China virus. It's COVID-19.
came from China,
Yeah, right.
but
The East Coast of America was all the European strain.
this was a horror show and continues to be, but only because of the vaccine, and that was done in 9 months.
It's only a horror show because of the vaccine?
Nobody thought it
Thanks for the hard sell, bruh.
was possible except me.
one more thing, Mr. President. I heard over the
By the way, we're exactly on time scale from whenever everybody said we would have the ability to inoculate people, that it would be a year and a half essentially from January of last year, we're pretty much right on that prediction. The approval of something is one thing, the ability to get it into arms, and he blew that off and just handed it off to the states. And what they'll handle it, they'll figure it out. Just buy it and dump it. They'll stick it in people.
Weekend that you are thinking of making your own social media company. You're
Please do. Just buy into Lindell's Frank.
off Twitter now, although quite frankly, your statements get a heck of a lot of attention.
On Newsmax.
Almost as much, if not more, than the tweets.
No.
What can you tell us about what you have in the works, if you have anything in the works? And I'm wondering if Peter Thiel might be involved.
Yeah, he's hard at work on a laptop right next to Trump, programming it.
Well, Peter's a great guy, and he's been a supporter, and he's a brilliant man from, Silicon Valley, essentially.
Essentially.
And he's done a tremendous job. But no, I have tremendous options because, I had probably more than 200 million people when you add it all up. And that's a lot. That's record-setting stuff. And
oh, you mean the same people following you on every social media platform? If you add them up as if they're all different people, you have like 200 million? Good God.
All of a sudden they decide it's too many people,
Jesus.
And so they cut it off. I think, and you just alluded to it, I do press releases, and frankly, they're more elegant than
what? Charmin?
Tweeting, as the expression goes.
Yeah, it's really a colloquialism. We're tweeting. You're on Facebook. Whatever.
Really much more elegant, and
they're elegant. Yeah, because they're on letterhead.
Word is getting out. Anything we do, I do that, and you do it less. It takes less time.
You don't have. You can just yell it from the shitter instead of actually feeling your legs go numb as you get in a hashtag war.
Probably a better form, and everyone's waiting for it. For me, it works. For other people, it wouldn't work because a press release doesn't mean that much.
Yeah, but these are people are like, ooh, what has he said this time?
But when I release when I put out a press release.
Yeah, when you push out a press release, when you carve off one of these.
You're seeing what happens. Everybody is waiting, and
everybody at Newsmax, yeah.
I think I'm getting better and more coverage with that than I did with tweeting. And the tweeting gets you in trouble because you're retweeting people, and you find out that the retweets were not so good because the person, if you didn't do research, that you're retweeting is not the best.
It's not the best? Oh, you mean they turn out to be a neo-Nazi, or they call for the death of the vice president, or that kind of stuff? Yeah, so nobody, all right.
So it gets you in a little difficult.
Yeah, it gets you in a little difficult.
Every once in a while. But
every once in a while. Who hasn't, retweeted a neo-Nazi or somebody who, doubts the Holocaust or something? You're just like, oh, bang, this person, what? They like me.
No, I like this better than Twitter.
Yeah, we like it better with you doing this too.
Actually, they did us a favor. This is better. But we have...
Yeah, Twitter did him a favor. By the way, that's the name of this video. Twitter did us a favor. Yeah, and by us, the rest of America.
A lot of options, and something will happen with social media if I want it to happen.
All right.
But do you?
All right, very interesting. Mr. President, we thank you for coming back.
Yeah, and thanks for giving us a 30-minute interview that we could squeeze out 12 minutes of usable stuff in there without getting our entire network sued for $1 billion.
Come back anytime.
Thank you, Greg.
We appreciate it so much. All the best, okay?
And you're doing a great job. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thank you,
so
sir.
long.
Your ratings have taken a shit, Greg, but salute him.
Very much. All the best.
My king, my king.
Very cool.
Very cool.
President of the United States, we'll be right back.
I'm not 100% convinced, Greg, that you didn't just take clips from Lisa Booth's interview and just play it and go, okay, this is the next question, and just fill in the gaps like Weird Al does with old interviews. I'm not convinced. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna call bullshit. By the way, you know how we do the religious fanatics? I love me some prophets for profit. You know what I mean? I love me some of these folks, the Hanks and the Cats and that crowd. And it's amazing to me that they have well, I guess it's not amazing because they do it tax-free. They can have enormous, reach because they don't have to worry about paying tax on anything. Even like in a lot of cases, sales tax depending on the state or where they buy stuff from or how they purchase it for gear and shit. It's amazing how easy it is. They have basically like a 15 to 20% head start on everybody else. So it's not surprising that they have a lot of people, they have the ability to gather together. And, they got a bunch of guests that come on there. Here's our favorite, version of Pence crisscrossed with the murderer FBI agent from Extreme Measures with Hugh Grant and Gene Hackman. There's Hank Kuhneman doing the one AirPod thing, but we hate big tech and Apple is evil, but whatever. They make the best shit. What are you gonna do? This guy apparently is from is it like the show Vikings? Didn't know they were allergic to shellfish, and then I guess this guy snuck into Seth Meyers' set and started, or Huckabee's set, and started doing a show from there. But look who this is. Look at that. Dog the Bounty Hunter. Many of you will know him from the old Bounty Hunter show that he used to do, and it was a big hit until, of course, he was recorded using the N-word repeatedly against his daughter was dating a black dude, and he was not having it. So, but there's nothing you can't rehab in this moment. So we don't need a lot of this, but let's spend a couple of moments with Dog the Bounty Hunter, which, by the way, with that length of hair, and trust me, I know, you just don't want to be in a room full of that many candles. It's not advisable.
Last week on the program where he said, you're all sitting there waiting for Jesus to come down and he's waiting for the church to rise up.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Put some rockets on those buildings and get them Tower of Babel, bitches.
And that's exactly where we need to be.
What?
All right, let's bring in our...
Well, it is true that basically you guys are in a moral sewer. So I guess, if Jesus did come down to earth, he wouldn't even notice you guys were there because of how deep you've dug into the... All right.
Our special guest today, not that you other guys aren't special.
Oh, they are.
Dog the Bounty Hunter. Man,
I didn't realize we both use the same highlighter tint to dye our hair. That's amazing.
I got so many questions when we put...
Oh, most of us do.
Your picture up about, hey, join us this Tuesday for Dog the Bounty Hunter. They're going, really? Dog the Bounty Hunter?
He's alive? He's not in jail? Really? I mean, obviously there are lots of people that you have on that were recorded using the N-word. It's a regular thing.
Tell us. I want to know. I know we don't have but an hour show here, but
but it'll never be enough.
I want to hear. I know your connection with Robby, but how did Dog the Bounty Hunter end up on Christian television tonight talking about the love of Jesus?
Because they all view themselves as Christians and nobody else will have them.
Well, I was raised in the Assemblies of God, so my whole life I've been raised in the Spirit. And what's happening, I believe that I'm known for, taking the bad guy, the devil's herd, putting him in the back of my car while in custody, and pouring Jesus down their throat.
Ew.
So I asked the Lord the other day,
Uh-oh. Please tell me Dog is now a prophet.
Is this the way that I should go now? Am I going to go into all this full blast? And I remember I was brought to memory about how Jesus' disciples, when he said he was coming, they said, Master, give us a hint. Tell us, when. And Jesus said, okay, I'll give you some hints. And he did. And he said, and the last thing that shall happen is knowledge shall abound. And I believe the day that Google came out, now knowledge shall have started coming out everywhere, abounding. And the Bible says, in those last days, which we are now, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Well, here I am, all flesh. And I'm telling you, the spirit.
Well, I mean, not all flesh. I mean, his jacket's leather. Maybe that's what he means. What? So Google is the sign of the end times.
is being poured out on me and my girl. Amen. And all across the world right now. There are miracles happening. I walk everywhere I go. There isn't people. I love your show, dog. It's I love Jesus too, dog. Dog, would you pray for me? My mother's died. I have never
That's a miracle.
Seen it like this.
Is it a miracle that their mother is dying?
You can be proud now to be a Christian.
Yeah.
You can be proud now, and people.
It's weird. It's almost as if you always could.
Don't disrespect it. They ask you for help. So I could feel.
You mean other Christians? Right.
On all flesh.
It's almost as if all this stuff about people hating on Christianity in general was all a lie. And it was really the hypocrisy of the other assholes you're surrounded by that people have a problem with, not, of course, people who are believers in Christ and who want a prayer for their sick mom.
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and the young men shall dream or shall prophesy, and me as an older man shall dream dreams. And I anoint my bed with oil every night.
I have no doubt.
And the dreams I am having, oh, good Lord, I am just, it's coming. I'm the same way that, we never know when Jesus is coming, but he's waiting on us. And this is the time right now.
That's right. This is not right. Listen to Dog the Bounty Hunter. Because if Jesus is sending anybody to forget the book of Matthew where no one shall know the hour of his coming. The apostle Matthew didn't know Dog the Bounty Hunter would exist. You know what I mean? He's not just a man, he's Dog the Bounty Hunter. Maybe no man shall know, but dog shall know.
When the Spirit of the Lord is taken over this country.
Yeah, amen. Well,
yeah, totally. Keep nodding, Hank.
Well said, dog. Well said. All right, Robby, I want you to jump in here because I want to know, the people at home are trying to figure out how did you guys get connected, what happened, and I want to make sure we tell the story that you told me this morning on the phone.
Ew. No, don't tell this. Don't do it.
About you guys at that restaurant. Go ahead.
Oh, thank God he said restaurant.
Well, I was speaking in Castle Rock at a church called The Rock, and
what a weird name for okay.
I had met Francie, who she had been following our ministry, had been at that church. We had interacted. She had told me the story about when her husband passed away.
So she was at the service, and you talked afterwards because you're a traveling person, and everybody went out to lunch. And she knows the pastor because she's famous. And could see a real God story in her life. And so when she and Dog met and became connected, I was preaching, I believe it was in September or November. I think it was September last year. She brought him to church, and I walked up to him and I said to him, I said, man, there's a man of risk. And I always say, getting from John. Yes, he looks like he's engaged in some risky behavior.
On Wimber, faith is spelled R-A-S-K. And he looked at me and he goes, I'm a man of risk. He goes, you're a man of risk. You go to.
Yeah, that shirt and necklace combo.
Afghanistan, you go to Iran, you go to all these crazy places. He goes, you're the man of risk. And I said, yeah, but I said, you're also a man of risk.
This is a good story. So let me guess. Please tell me you guys finished the evening playing a game of Risk together.
And I tell you what, immediately our hearts just bonded, and I had already had a connection with Francie, and so that had already.
Was he upset about that?
Started, but I tell you what, when I saw this man's life and just what Jesus had been doing, the seeds that have been planted.
Yeah, I agree. There was something. Let's see. I don't know if then let's see. I don't know if did you hold on. There was something I'll have to look up when you're thinking about people where you're like looking at someone's path and it just kind of jumps out at you. It's hard for a Dwayne Dog Chapman is rushing to do some damage control after using the N-word in a phone call to his son. Yeah, in Hawaii we had something called Ho'oponopono, where people come together to resolve crisis, restore peace and balance. I'm meeting with my spiritual advisor. I see. So he went to see a pagan representative. Okay. I mean, how can you not be struck by how Jesus moves in his life and all this? You know what I mean? I can see how. Yeah, why wouldn't that immediately resonate?
It was so fruitful, and everywhere we've been together. He's been with me on trips, and man, every time people stop and talk to him, and he'll prophesy to him. He'll look at him. We've been on the street, and he'll look at somebody and he'll say, "You're using right now, and the Lord wants to deliver you from that addiction because that is bringing you down." And I've been there, and
I don't know if that's a prophesying. I think he just has been around enough drug addicts to know when you see the lumps in their pocket.
Know what that's like. And he'll start praying for him, and I just see the Spirit of God hit him. And so it's something that was already on Dog for a long time.
What do you mean, tics?
But it was lying dormant. There were things that were suppressing. And this all gets to the key of what we're talking about and what people hear in his testimony.
Cool story, bro. I don't care. I just thought I'd throw that in there because it relates kind of to the fact that this is how far the mighty have fallen, that Rand Paul is now scrounging for interviews with Victory News, which is, basically there's two lanes in the Christian broadcasting world right now online. It's Victory News and Flashpoint. Flashpoint tries to be a little more normal so they can get people that to actually come on for interviews, but they're all lunatics. And this is, by the way, Victory News. Rand Paul slams Dr. Fauci and top stories. I don't know if that means because Rand Paul is slamming the top stories. I'm guessing not.
Welcome to Victory News today, sir.
It's so good. You're so lucky to have him there. Right now, by the way, in case you don't know, this is a card he got from somebody, a little picture book or something like that. And this is the key to Trump's asshole that he got as a gift on a trip down to Mar-a-Lago. You have to bob for it in the gold toilet.
Sir, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, we're all glad. And thanks for wearing blue urban camo in a tan and brown setting.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes.
And, I think the record needs to be set straight, basically. I think there's a very...
By the way, he's talking about the interchange he had with Fauci, which a lot of you guys saw. So this is Rand Paul's take on his own take.
Important question. If they're going to tell you need to wear a mask for the next several years, they need to...
They're not saying you have to wear a mask for the next several years. Nobody's saying that. When they say we might have to wear masks, what they mean is the greater public, largely because people aren't getting vaccinated. And since he represents the 50% that don't want to get vaccinated at all, that's who you're talking to.
To answer the question, if you've already had it naturally, like myself and 30 million other people.
And he explained to you, if you have wild type, you can still get the other strains. It's different than being vaccinated. He's not getting vaccinated. He's just already had it. So he can not only have it and carry it and spread it, he doesn't give a shit.
Or you've been vaccinated, like about another 60 or 70 million people. They need to prove to us that we can still get it and that we are somehow spread.
No, they don't. They do not need to prove to you. They need to eliminate that possibility over time with real study, because they're dealing in cautious, smart behavior, not on a bum rush to argue for the openness of the entire society when a bunch of people like him are still susceptible to the other strains.
Spreading it if they want us to wear a mask. Otherwise, they need to admit that the vaccine works. And actually, it looks like the vaccine is working on all these variants as well.
It looks like. Notice the looks like part, asshole. There's still study to be done. A lot of people aren't concerned with the looks like. They're concerned with the what's happening.
Okay, so we hear this all the time, Senator, follow the science.
Uh-huh.
We quarantined an entire...
Right, and there is incomplete science right now, so you err on the side of caution until the science fills in the gaps, especially when you're dealing with a mass contagion. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You were Jesusing him about how many people we can afford to lose.
Our nation, rather than just sick people like we've done in the times past. You referenced the Spanish flu of about 100 years ago in that hearing. And that was much more deadly. So why
was it much more deadly? Oh, well, because anti-maskers spread it all over the place. we didn't have the technology in place to come up with a vaccine?
The science, in layman's terms, for us to understand.
Yeah, tell us in layman's terms, in deference to both of you.
Well, they are arguing what if.
Yeah, right. Because they are trying to save as many lives as possible, and we still haven't flattened the curve.
Arguing basically conjecture. They're saying, well, what if after you've been vaccinated, you can still get it and transmit it to others?
Right. Yeah. What if? Studies still need to be done. It would be prudent during that time, considering the deadliness of this particular virus, that's how you would act. I'm sorry. I'm talking about in terms of if you actually gave a shit about people dying. Please continue.
That's why they want you to wear a mask, because it's what if. Now,
right.
They don't know this happens.
Right.
But my point to them is, show me the evidence.
No. You have to they're gathering evidence to see if it works. The evidence, all right.
That people who've been vaccinated or people who've been previously infected, show me the evidence that they are somehow still spreading this disease.
That took me 7 seconds. SARS-CoV-2 reinfection rate likely higher than previously thought. A 43-year-old man in the United States tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 twice within 4 months, according to a paper at BMJ Case Reports. That would be Science, by the way. Researchers said the case highlights the possibility of reinfection with SARS-CoV-2 and provides an opportunity to expand the limited data that are available regarding reinfection. We felt it important to document this case report of presumed COVID-19 reinfection to further elucidate the natural history of COVID-19 reinfection. An infectious disease fellow in the Department of Internal Medicine at Yale University School of Medicine and co-author of the paper told Helio Primary Care. Concerns about reinfection are increasing with the emergence of new variants, according to senior co-author Onyema Ogbuagu, MBBCHFACP That person has studied. An infectious disease specialist and director of the HIV clinical trials in the Yale AIDS program, he warned that individuals previously infected with earlier strains of SARS-CoV-2 would be immediately vulnerable to reinfection with emerging strains, like the variants, emerging variants like the South African strain. Below, Tuan discusses the incidence of SARS-CoV-2 reinfection, waning immunity, and again, that's another part. Waning immunity, meaning the people who've had it might be immune for 6 months, but it might also fade over time, and they might catch it 6 months from now. The severity of disease and reinfection, and more. You may in your reinfection, not actually get it very bad, but just shed virus everywhere you go. And if you're a Rand Paul-like asshole, you'll wander around as an asymptomatic spreader, murdering people. But I'm sorry, please continue to Christian.
That's the only reason to wear a mask, is if you could still spread it.
You could also still get it. God damn, this guy's dumb.
Well, it looks like there is no evidence. He says, what about the variant from South Africa?
Uh-huh.
But there is no evidence that the variant from South Africa is that the vaccine doesn't work for it.
Yeah, you haven't had the vaccine, asshole. You've had wild type. You can get the South African variant. You can also spread the South African variant. And quite frankly, if you get it because you've already had wild type, you might not show symptoms, think you're healthy, and spread the South African variant and cause more variants.
Or that people have been infected or getting it again.
7 seconds. Just saying.
There are very rare instances of people getting the infection again. So
Very rare. You know why it's very rare? Because everybody's wearing masks and people are still home. That's why it's rare. Not because it doesn't happen. Not because when you get back into mass groups, it wouldn't happen more.
Million people in our country have gotten COVID, and there's like 5 that have been proven to be reinfection. There's a couple.
Like 5. While we've all been locked down, asshole.
A dozen more that may be reinfections. But that to me is the exception to the rule. That's not the rule. We shouldn't base public policy on, 30 people out of 30 billion got it again, therefore we all have to wear masks, forever.
30 people out of 30 million got it while we're all staying home and we're all still wearing masks and we're not going out.
And the point I made about the Spanish flu
isn't really a point.
The Spanish flu might come back someday. This is not the Spanish flu. It's not nearly as deadly, but the Spanish flu could come back. And so what should we do? Just wear a mask, cowering in our basement, waiting for the Spanish flu to come back?
No, they have a strain of it still in storage, and I presume they have a vaccine for it.
No, I think we should base this on the science. And if there's no evidence that people have been vaccinated or spreading it.
Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. But you would know that if you went to medical school. Oh, right.
Then they should be able to be done with their mask.
Okay,
the government,
go ahead.
Government experts don't want to ever let go of you is the problem.
That's exactly right. And that's what I want.
That's so right. Yeah. I mean, we got to move in faith, don't we?
To go to was policy. I'm going to give
coverage in the spirit of faith. Faith that you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, saith the Lord. And just say goodbye to Grandma if Rand Paul's ever in the mall.
A little facts, because the American people, and you understand this, sir, are getting frustrated because the goalpost keeps moving.
No, they don't. The goalposts aren't moving.
January 21st of last year, Americans don't need to worry about coronavirus, Dr. Fauci. February.
Yeah, because it hadn't hit our shores yet.
8th, danger.
They didn't need to not go to the grocery store. They didn't need to, stockpile food yet.
Getting corona is minusculously low. February
it was
29th. No need for the public to change their behavior on concern for coronavirus. He recommended that we should take a cruise. No mask, 1 mask, 2 masks.
And then as it grew, behavior and information changed.
And his job is to inform and advise policymakers and the President of the United States, not tell us what to do and when we should do it. How did one man become so powerful in our constitutional republic?
He didn't. It's all advisory.
Well, this is the problem. And this is why I often will preface what I'm saying about what we should do is that in a free country,
you should be able to spread disease willy-nilly everywhere and grind the entire country to a halt, especially if it kills mostly black and brown people and people with comorbidities. I mean, you gotta remember, he's a libertarian Darwinist, and he's, coverage in the spirit of faith, being, take that with a grain of salt. To Rand Paul's thinking, along with Ron Paul, there are superior humans, and anybody who dies had it coming.
Each individual assesses their own risk. So, for example, if you want to ride a motorcycle, you assess the risks of riding a motorcycle.
And you wear a helmet. And states have laws about wearing helmets. Just like masks. Basically, think of it as a mask for your head. Like if you replace the squirrel on your head with a mask, that would be a helmet.
If you want to ride a moped, if you want to cross a busy street.
If you want to cross a busy street, you would cross at the crosswalk that the tyrannical government has set up. And if you don't, you get a jaywalking citation after they scrape you up off the ground.
If you choose to jaywalk and go across when the lights are still red.
Like, you mean not wear a mask, even though statistically speaking, people cross the streets all the time. You look at the statistics, very few people are killed crossing the street, largely because they use crosswalks or cross when there's no traffic. So statistically speaking, you should have the freedom to walk across a busy, speedy road, not using the crosswalk, and statistically, you should be able to make it to the other side. Could this be a dumber argument?
You take risk. You choose to drink and drive.
Yeah, we have checkpoints. This drunk driving argument, like they use this with guns too. We literally set up checkpoints. If you drink and drive, you go to jail, or you could kill someone. That person didn't choose to drink and drive. You might survive because you were drunk. Listen to this asshole.
Choose to get in a car with someone who's been drinking. All of these things are risks, but in a free society, you have to try to sort these out and make your judgment.
No, you don't. No, you don't. There's not a single state in the union, red or blue, where drunk driving is legal. We have a federal speed limit, stupid. It's based on the averages in terms of who dies, not based on, well, you know, Formula One racers, they're obviously trained, so they should be able to go as fast as they want. All of these areas, every single example this dickhead is giving, we have both federal, state, and local limitations on those behaviors to save lives. This is literally more of an example of why you would have mask mandates. Masks are the crosswalks of a busy street. They are the helmets of motorcycle riding. They are the checkpoints and rules and laws and drunk driving tests, the breathalyzer tests of drunk driving. How dizzy and stupid do you have to be? Like, I can't say, honestly, I don't listen to a lot of Rand Paul because I'm not a big fan of carpetbaggers anyways, but I'm actually shocked at how dumb this argument is. I'm sorry, Mark, I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling in his direction because I'm exasperated. Seriously. How much of it? This is dumber than I expected. You guys know I don't pre-watch these things because I don't need this shit in my life twice. Rand Paul, this is amazing. This is a red letter day. Rand Paul is actually fucking dumber than I thought he was. And I thought that was a near impossibility. Christ almighty.
And the thing about this virus that nobody's willing to talk about is the risks are greatly different depending on your age.
Yeah, right. You can carry it around and spread it all over the goddamn place, not getting sick yourself, but some random elderly person or somebody with immune problems or somebody with comorbidities or somebody who has no idea they would have a comorbidity that's related to this disease will all of a sudden just get it because you thought since you already had it, you pick up a wild strain, you pick up the South African variant, walk around coughing and sneezing and breathing and spitting all over everybody.
So if you're under 25, the risk of death is about 1 in a million.
Right. But the risk of carrying it every fucking where is way higher, stupid.
If you're above 80, the risk of death might be 2 or 3 out of 100. So it's a pretty significant risk.
Uh-huh. And they have no idea where that 25-year-old has been, or this dickhead senator who thinks that since he had it, he can't spread it anymore because there's no science to prove that he can.
It goes up, with age. It also grows up with obesity. And instead of just telling everybody wear a mask.
And there's nobody in fucking Kentucky that's obese. Are you kidding? Do we want to go through the obesity statistics in your home state? Well, it's not his home state. He's a carpetbagger.
They should tell people if you were significantly overweight,
stay inside and wear a mask.
It is a big risk factor for having to go on a ventilator or perhaps dying. People should know that so they can say, I have this problem. I should try to lose weight, but I also have this problem. And I'm going to stay the heck away from people because I know I'm one who's at risk, or I decide to get vaccinated because.
What if you don't know that you have a comorbidity? You don't have a one that's visible to the eye till you're on a ventilator and you're dead.
As I have this weight problem, and that is a big risk factor. So it's age, and then the second risk factor is probably weight.
And if you don't know, Senator Paul is a medical doctor.
He's an optometrist, and he started his own optometry group to give himself an award. Best optometrist, according to the Rand Paul Optometry Institute.
Last question here, sir. You mentioned those that are at risk and those that are not at risk.
Yeah, should we really give a shit as Christians? I mean, the Lord said you can't save everybody.
The studies I've seen and the reporting I've seen is that school-age children are the least at risk, whereas...
Yeah, but who runs the schools, dumbass? How old are teachers? What's the general age range of administrators, janitors, teachers, instructors, gym teachers, guards, all the folks that they have at schools? Are they children? Is it Lord of the Flies at the elementary school you send your kid to?
The elderly are more at risk, yet we put people in nursing homes in certain states that had COVID, which exposed those people to that. But why aren't we back in school, sir?
Well, under age 25, this is less dangerous than the seasonal flu. So you have to say.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. He's using the standard based on the flu statistics went down last year because everything did.
That, and people go crazy on the left. They don't want to hear it. But under age 25, the COVID virus is less dangerous than the annual seasonal flu that we get every year.
That's because we were locked down.
So we closed all the schools.
And that's what kept it less deadly than the seasonal flu. You can't say and recognize the fact that the entire country has stayed home and kids have not been in school spreading the goddamn thing, and then say it's magically statistically less. The statistic you're citing is based on life while locked down. The flu has never been a part of our society as a lockdown measure. It spreads rampantly. I
didn't obey any science. We never had an epidemic or an outbreak among the children. People get it, yes.
Because we stayed home, because we shut down school as fast as we shut down everything else. We didn't have a breakout because of the precautions we took.
And some children died.
Yeah, but I mean, who needs them? By the way, that is not a Kentucky accent, in case you were wondering.
Well, here's the thing. More children are dying right now from suicide than they are from this. So the isolation of having these kids home for a year.
How really not because we weren't locked down. Many real doctors disagree with you. It doesn't matter if the doctors disagree with me. The reality is that statistically, the country locked down. And so if you're going to count body counts and numbers of cases of the flu, which happens while we're all out spreading it everywhere, which also affects the amount of people who carry it or have it and have minor symptoms, and compare it with the last year where we have not interacted the way we normally do when the flu is spreading, and then say that that's indicative of the death rate, it's hooey.
It's destroying their educational foundation, but it also is causing a great deal of loneliness and dysfunctional families where kids are actually killing themselves. And the people who have advocated.
So the solution is just let everybody else die because you don't want to handle that part of it. Where has been the Republican, we need to rush mental health services and wellness checks? We talked about this last year. Why is home health services in schools not sending out like wellness checks to all the kids in the school on a regular schedule just to make sure, especially kids who are on their red list?
For these lockdowns should be made to answer for this, because this is a terrible policy. And frankly, the policy should be different from children than for old folks. You know, if you were.
Yeah, just let kids out of the house. I mean, the old folks and the adults and anybody over 25 will have to stay home. And those are mostly the people with children, especially children, you know, who are toddlers or whatever. But according to Rand Paul, just let your toddler cross a busy street.
For over 80, there are some risks.
Why does the senator look wet? That's a good question.
Being in enclosed areas. Fortunately, that risk is going down, and I think we should tell people there's some good news.
There is good news. But if we open up too quickly, we'll be in a situation like Germany is in. We don't want to have that. So we set stages, we meet goals, and we open up.
The numbers are plummeting every day of those.
They're not plummeting. They have stabilized because of the measures taken in blue states and the lack of measures in red states.
Getting infected and the death rates coming down. There are some predicting by the end of April this could be over. Not Dr. Fauci, of course. He says it's going to go on forever and you can just keep wearing your mask.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there is no quote for him saying this is going to go on forever and you can just keep wearing your mask. I mean, not that he's on a Christian network and that's bearing false witness, but whatever.
Nobody knows the future for certain, but there is definitely evidence that is good. We published an article or put it out today on Twitter.
Oh, did we?
From JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, saying that the variants are covered by the vaccine.
Right. You haven't had the vaccine. And most of your folks aren't going to get the vaccine, dummy. That's a big problem. Matter of fact, most of the people that watch this channel are not going to get the vaccine.
This is great news.
It is for people who get the vaccine and who aren't anti-vax.
Instead of everybody gnashing their teeth over, oh, the variants won't be covered, looks like so far the variants are covered by the...
We know. That's what Dr. Fauci said. He was saying versus wild type, and you were arguing because you've had it that you wouldn't have to worry about the variants and shedding the virus while you have the variants. Was I the only one listening during your conversation with him?
The vaccine, and none of the variants appears to be more deadly. They appear to be, if anything, perhaps less deadly. So there's a lot of...
No. None of them. Remember what he said. Remember, none of them appear to be more deadly. None of them, he said. Remember? It wasn't that he said some of them might be, blah, blah, blah. No. He's saying none of them. Here's one. Well, you want to trust? Here you go. You want to go with science? Let's go with science, shall we? We'll just go with science. Supercomputer analysis reveals why UK South African coronavirus variants are more contagious, deadly. All viruses mutate as they make copies of themselves to spread, thrive. SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, is proving no different. There are currently more than 4,000 variants. 4,000 variants. But remember him saying that none of them of COVID-19, which has already killed more than 2.7 million people worldwide during the pandemic. UK variant, also known as B.1.1.7, was first detected September 2020, is now causing 98% of all COVID-19 cases in the UK, and appears to be gaining a firm grip about 100 other countries to spread to, and it's here already. Let's see. The UK and South African and Brazil variants are more contagious and escape immunity easier than the original virus. We need to understand why they are more infectious and in many ways and cases more deadly. But, and again, we're not talking about him hedging his words. Let's be abundantly clear. This is not him saying, look, a few of them might be that way, but that's not the one. That's, there are 4,000 variants and maybe 3 of them or whatever. He's not hedging this at all. What did he just say?
The variants appears to be more...
Hold on.
Looks like so far the variants are covered by the vaccine, and none of the variants appears to be more deadly.
None of the... listen to that.
So far the variants are covered by the vaccine, and none of the variants appears to be more deadly. They appear to be, if anything, perhaps less deadly. So there's a lot...
Fuck you. Seriously. I maybe we can blame this on COVID brain, in which case I am being ableist towards Rand Paul. But, in deference to his own beliefs about himself, because his identity is more important than reality, as we now know, he thinks he's fine. So his COVID brain is telling him that...
None of the variants appears to be more deadly. So far, the variants are covered by the vaccine, and none of the variants appears to be more deadly. They appear to be, if anything, perhaps less deadly. So
perhaps not. Perhaps not at all. Perhaps besides the analysis of all the cases done by a supercomputer. Let's see. USA Today. Why more transmissible variants of COVID-19 can be worrisome as more deadly ones. Because there are more deadly ones. See what I mean? Let's go to new variants of coronavirus. What you should know. Does it change? The community variant of concern. Variant known as B.1.351, which is identified in South Africa, is getting a closer look from researchers. Also, data shows vaccine from AstraZeneca provided minimal protection from that version. Minimal. Great. Has not been shown to show more severe than earlier versions, but there's a chance that it could give people who's... Oh, look at this. There's a chance that it could give people who survived the original coronavirus another round of mild or moderate COVID-19, wherein they would be shedding virus, and people who haven't gotten it or haven't been vaccinated yet, which is the vast majority of people in the country, would get it, and a portion of them could die. But, it's Christianity. What's the risk of dying from fast-spreading COVID-19? Let's see. The team found that B1117 is more deadly than previous variants. Wait. For what? For all age groups, genders, and ethnicities. All of them. About variants of the virus. I mean, dude has a whole staff. I'm doing this by myself. It took me a second. UK coronavirus variant appears to be more deadly. UK variant is significantly more deadly. That's Forbes, well-known left-wing shit rag. Here's UC Davis. Variants more contagious and deadly. But masks and measures help. There you go. Hi, Rand Paul, you fuckwit. Just to be abundantly clear, this man is on a Christian television show that is largely watched by people who aren't going to get the vaccine.
The variants won't be covered. Looks like so far the variants are covered by the vaccine, and none of the variants,
which he hasn't had, and most of the people on this won't have. They're just hoping they had it or won't encounter it.
Variants appears to be more deadly. They appear to be, if anything, perhaps less deadly. So
I mean, this is UC Davis, so I don't know why I'm not trusting a self-congratulating optometrist over the people who've actually studied. Time to double down on coronavirus precautions to protect yourself and others. You what? Time to what? Time to what? Christ almighty. I am literally shocked at how dumb Rand Paul is, and that's impressive.
There's a lot of good news out there, and I think, for goodness sakes, people that have either had this, 30 million of us, or have gotten the vaccine.
Or what? Sorry, or? No. All the good news comes for people who've gotten the vaccine. All the people who've had it can still get it again. And you might have fading immunity, dummy.
Need some good news, and they need to quit listening to Dr. Fauci and listen to other people that are talking the truth.
So not you, is what you're saying.
Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming on here and helping us murder half of our audience, who also all think that the vaccine is the mark of the devil. And congratulations on your new award and your and receiving the key to Donald Trump's rectum. Christ almighty. Gee, just when I thought we couldn't get dumber. When it comes to the gun debate, we seem to, tread the same ground over and over and over again. And what's happened is that you have a lot of the people who are like, the guns don't kill people, people kill people. And, Republicans and NRA types who say this, while the rest of us are all going, yeah, and we would like to keep guns out of the hands of those people and leave law-abiding gun owners who are responsible alone, and therefore we would like background checks and to stop straw purchases and the like that won't stop you from getting a gun and gun registration. So, obviously, the people that kill people, we can limit their ammo capacity, for example, so that so we can all go to the fucking grocery store or the movie theater or to get a massage or wherever without worrying about being murdered because you guys insist on it, on guns being available in gumball machines. So this is, I think this is, Senator Kennedy talking about that very thing.
Us right now, Republican Senator John Kennedy. Senator, we gave you a lot of information. There's still a lot.
I'm just glad to be here with you.
We don't know, but one thing is predictable. The gun debate is back.
But it never left. I live in Las Vegas right now. Believe me, the gun debate is always happening.
Well, Brian, look, these killings were terrible.
Well, I'm glad we can agree on that.
They were horrible.
Oh, were they terrible or horrible?
I
think they're both.
Reminded, though, that, America is a big country.
Uh-huh. where we have enough guns in the country for everyone to have 3, but only 26% of Americans own the majority of those guns.
We're free.
Yes, free to buy a gun in a parking lot for cash after someone who went through the legal process inside the gun show purchased it for us, and then we can go use it to murder someone. It's the right kind. It's the Christian kind of freedom.
And one of the prices we pay for that freedom is
a bunch of strangers dying and me having to get on here with Brian Dillweed and pretend I give a shahooty.
That you're always going to have some people who abuse it.
Yeah, that's what you're going to do. Have some people who abuse it, like myself.
Freedom is risk.
Isn't it?
What we've got to concentrate on.
Really? Because there's a lot of other free countries in the world that don't have these kind of risks. Like, I don't need to have going to the grocery store to rank next to bungee jumping with a nearsighted controller running the operation. I don't need it to line up.
Is how to control that risk. You're not.
Sorry. You need to control that risk?
You're going to stop the killings until you stop the killers.
Right. Stop the killers from what? Oh, getting guns and having so much ammo, there's literally not a break where you can bum rush them in a shooting. They don't ever have to reload. They can kill everyone in a grocery store using one clip.
But you don't stop drunk drivers.
Matt Getz, don't listen to him.
Getting rid of all sober drivers.
That's not what we're asking. Background checks would be the equivalent of setting up checkpoints on game night and other situations where you remind people that you shouldn't use your car unlawfully and pulling people over if they're swerving. And if somebody gets a DUI multiple times, they lose their ability to drive altogether. No one's asking to get rid of sober drivers.
Which is what many of my Democratic friends want to do with
No, it isn't.
Respect to the Second Amendment.
No, it isn't.
In my judgment, we do not need more gun control.
No, you need, what do we need? You don't need more gun control. What do you need?
We need more idiot control.
Ouch. You're going to say that with Brian sitting right there? Brian, don't take it personally. It's hard not to. It's hard not to, I know.
How do we do that?
Yeah, how do we do it?
Already tried. The Republicans have. Senator Grassley, Senator Cruz had a bill to strengthen our national database.
Uh-huh. Database of what? Idiots?
We regulate gun ownership in America. If you're convicted of certain crimes, if you have a tendency to violence, if you're...
A tendency to violence? Apparently not, because this asshole had a tendency to violence and even had a run-in with the law about it and was still able to buy a gun. What's the... How far does it go where a tendency overtakes your ability to purchase a gun?
If you're
Your Honor, before you today, this fella has what we'd like to say is a tendency towards violence. In all deference to you, milady, and everyone else here in the courtroom, this gentleman has a tendency to become violent. Well, how would you say that this man has got a tendency towards violence? Well, he bit me. Well, I certainly see no problem in that. You look a peach to me. No, in a bad way. I see.
Mentally ill and you want to buy a gun, your name has to run through a database.
If you what?
Mentally ill and you want to buy. We regulate gun ownership in America. If you're convicted of certain crimes.
Okay, convicted of certain crimes.
If you have a tendency to violence.
Tendency to violence.
If you're mentally ill and you want to buy a gun.
If you're mentally ill and you want to buy a gun. Well, this dude was all three of those things and was still able to buy a gun. What the fuck are you talking about? He was literally mentally ill. He literally had a tendency towards violence. He was kicked off his wrestling team because after he was was removed from the varsity team, he threatened to kill everyone.
Your name has to run through a database.
It has to run through a database before they go, oh, guess what? You get a free handgun, lunatic. Here you go.
The problem.
I know you came in here just to buy an AR, whatever version of the ARs you want. We got 10 different kinds here. You want to, you can have any of these or whatever. But if you buy one of those today, you get a free handgun. But only if you show up on our lunatic who's got a tendency towards violence, who's got a history of violence with the police department database. In which case, you get extra long clips.
The problem is that the database has huge holes in it.
Oh yeah, so you might want to update that.
And many federal agencies and state agencies are very cavalier about sending in the names.
Are they? You mean red states who think that the tyrannical government is a problem, so they won't put in the information, and those people then move to another state? And let me guess, nobody's filling out their I'm nuts form either.
Grassley and Cruz's bill, which I support, would have tightened up the database, and it would have cracked down on people who have guns who shouldn't have guns. You know why the bill didn't pass? Many of my Democratic colleagues filibustered it.
Because it didn't go far enough, because it was just, it was for show.
Now, if you drill down far enough, what you're going to find, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush.
No, why would you want to do that?
But many, not all, many of my Democratic colleagues, they just don't believe in the Second Amendment. They just don't.
Well, which part? The well-regulated part? Because they seem to be all in on that part.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
I mean, we've heard it in terms of police officers. I mean, basically, the Democratic position is that if a bad guy shoots a cop, it's the guns problem.
If a bad guy shoots a cop, it's the guns problem. What? Can anybody know what the shit he's talking about? If a bad guy shoots a cop, it's the guns problem.
If a cop shoots a bad guy, it's the cop's fault.
No, obviously not. It's a bad guy we're talking about. The only time it would be the cop's fault, quote unquote, is when it's not a bad guy. Or the person was not sufficiently bad to warrant being killed. I mean, obviously, we have different standards about what means capital punishment, Senator. How'd you do?
I hear you.
You know, if it weren't for double...
Yes, he's in Congress. He's in that big round where they gather the news people.
Standards here, we wouldn't have any standards at all.
Here's what the president said.
You don't have any standards at all. If it wasn't for double standards, we wouldn't have any standards at all. Right. You don't have any standards.
Today, calling on, he wants this to happen right away in the House and the Senate. Listen.
The United States Senate, I hope some are listening, should immediately pass the 2 House-passed bills that close loopholes in the background check system.
Which is apparently in line with what Kennedy was saying, but he'll, of course, vote against it, as will Cruz and all those.
We should also ban assault weapons in the process.
Agreed.
It looks like this guy bought his gun 6 days ago. Is there anything about these two...
6 days? 6 days from now? From March 23rd? So this was yesterday. So 4 days before he did this, he was able to buy that gun. Okay.
Control measures that are now the Senate's looking at that would address anything to do with what happened here today as we know it.
Yes, and if President Biden or whoever's making the decisions at the White House really wants to do something.
Speaking as someone who's literally got the NRA's hand up his ass so far, he looks like a human spitting image puppet.
About this problem, they will support Senator Grassley's and Senator Cruz's bill.
No, they already passed 2 bills in the House that cover those things and more. Why would they want Grassley and Cruz's bill when the minority bill is really just a bunch of hot air?
Let me say it again.
Yeah, keep saying it. It gets dumber each time.
Regulate guns in America.
Right.
The database has holes in it big enough to drive.
Yeah, that's what Biden was addressing. That's what those bills address.
I have a Mack truck through.
Full of assault weapons.
Why wasn't the killer in Boulder's name in the database? Let's find out.
Let me guess, because Colorado doesn't give a shit.
Let's plug the holes.
Because, I don't know, ask Lauren Boebert. It's her state.
Holes and enforce the law.
Molly Hemingway said something pretty intriguing at the end of Bret Baier's show, saying we might find out that the FBI was tracking him. So we do have a lot of questions that need to be answered. I want to put up a couple of full screens.
Right, but if they can't do anything, they can just look into them because of freedom.
There's some staggering numbers of gun violence in inner city where
I don't know how anybody with teeth can do such a good job of looking like they don't have any teeth. That's really impressive.
Gun controls are very, very strict, especially the one I'm in. Take a look at some of these numbers in terms of shooting. They're pretty stark. I mean, in Chicago, 112 homicides so far this year, 506 shooting incidents.
What, you want to put a population number up next to that?
So far this year. In Los Angeles, 77 homicides since up until March 13th.
77. All guns? Probably not.
303 shootings as well. In New York City, 68 homicides, 227 shooting victims. People are upset about law enforcement there. Gun controls have never been stricter here. We got a huge problem in our inner cities. Where's the outrage then?
Well, we're handling it. The problem is the guns come in from outside the state. All the Chicago guns are straw purchased in Indiana and in Missouri.
Well, look, I don't want to, again, paint with too broad a brush, Brian.
Or, I don't even want to do this barn in one color.
But this is not just about databases and checks for guns and that sort of thing.
No, what's it about?
It's about the Second Amendment.
The well-regulated part? Are you gonna firmly come down on we need to regulate guns very well in this country? You're gonna hit that? I mean, you're an absolutist. If you're a Second Amendment purist.
Many of my Democratic colleagues just don't support it.
No, they support the half you don't. They read the whole thing, and you only support the shall not be infringed part without taking into the roof over the whole thing, which is well regulated.
When a jihadist who happens to be a Muslim blows up a school,
are there jihadists who aren't?
School full of school children, and
when they blow up a school full of school children, please tell me that he's not arguing that bombs should be part of the arms that we're allowed to keep and bear.
Kills them all. We're told, don't judge all Muslims because of the acts of a few.
Right.
And I agree with that.
Right.
How come the same rule doesn't apply to the 100 million gun owners in America?
It does. When a jihadist comes to this country, they pass through background checks, they're vetted. We fingerprint them when they come into the country. One of the reasons why they're caught is because we have as much information as we have. They're arguably registered. But the faith in a general sense is not the same thing as stockpiling weapons in a specific sense. A gun owner versus somebody who believes a system. And there might be people who are violent who believe in any particular religion, but everybody who owns a gun is thinking that at some point, by hook or by crook, they might have to use it against another human being. Some are hopeful about it, some aren't, but that's what they're for. And by the way, if we want to get back to just chucking books at everybody, where, if the geopolitical wars happening between the Abrahamic religions right now boil down to them throwing their own tomes at each other, I'm for it.
Who never abused their right.
So I want you to see what's...
Well, they don't abuse their right until that dude hadn't abused his right to own a gun until he killed 10 people in a grocery store. Right?
With former President Obama rang in with today, who's evidently in constant contact with the current President of the United States.
Gee, I wonder why. It's almost like they're friends.
Wonder if this is President Obama's third term. But
did you not hear what he said about we have an idiot problem in this country, Brian?
Among the things that he has said, and I'll read it, and it's kind of calling you out. At the end of this, he says, it will take time to root out the disaffection, racism, misogyny that fuels so many of these senseless acts of violence. Okay, but we can make it harder for those with hate in their hearts to buy weapons of war. And he goes on. We can overcome opposition by cowardly politicians.
Yeah, he means, I mean, not just politicians, by the way. He also means you in the news, at Fox.
And the pressure of a gun lobby that opposes any limit on the ability for anyone to assemble an arsenal. We can and we must. Are you a cowardly politician?
Yes, he is.
Well, the president a former president, is entitled to his opinion. This is America. I'm just telling him that we already, and to me this is a natural fact, we already regulate guns in America.
We just don't do it. We regulate it with apparently a system, according to him, you could drive a Mack truck through. A Mack truck full of assault weapons because there's no ban on them.
We have the laws. We're just not enforcing them. We need to enforce them.
So why are the red states not enforcing them? Because those guns are ending up in blue states.
If you pass the Grassley and Cruz bill and he would tell his Democratic friends not to filibuster it to death, then we could do something about this problem.
Senator Kennedy,
they don't have to filibuster it to death.
As we speak right now, our border is being simply invaded.
It's terrible. I wish we had guns down there, all these kids.
By what looks like 3 predominant Central American countries, even.
Yeah, the 9-year-olds from those countries, but sure.
Some from Mexicans are coming through our border at a dizzying rate.
A dizzying rate. I mean, you go down there, you're like, oh my God, I have the vapors.
We couldn't get some pictures inside the facility, but finally, it looks like after the embarrassment of the weekend of their Homeland Security Secretary just pretending as if they're worried about the journalists getting or giving.
Thanks, Mark.
The coronavirus to would-be illegal immigrants. They provided some footage of what's going on in these soft facilities where a lot of these underage minors are, unaccompanied minors are.
So they're unaccompanied minors. What do you suggest we do with children with no adults present when they arrive?
What is your take about what you're seeing, and along with the Axios pictures given to us by Congressman Henry Cuellar?
Mm-hmm. Well, for the last 4 years, I've listened to many of my Democratic friends and Mr. Biden, he wasn't president then, call all of us who believed in a secure border a bunch of racists.
Well, no, not because you believe in a secure border.
But we pressed on anyway.
Because you're racist.
And when President Biden became President Biden, he inherited the most secure border in my lifetime
thanks COVID.
Result of the actions of a Republican Congress.
To let COVID run wild and therefore slow all migration across all borders in the world to a trickle.
I hate to tell you, they don't believe that. They said Trump left them a mess.
They did leave a mess. Most of these people have been waiting on the other side of the border in camps. You have footage of it. Show that.
Well, they're wrong. One of us is right and the other is wrong, and the other.
You're wrong.
Other one is them.
What? You what?
One of us is right and the other is wrong, and the other one is them.
Okay, good. I'm glad we clarified that.
They inherited the most secure border in my lifetime. So, what did President?
What was because of that? Oh, because COVID.
Biden do on his very first day? He got rid of all the policy and practices that we implemented to secure the border. Now, one need not be clairvoyant to see what was going to happen.
That the numbers are basically the same as they were before the pandemic, and
people flooded in.
Yep.
Now, the people making these decisions in the White House,
whoever that is, it can't be Biden.
Either one or two things are true. Either they're like a rock, only dumber, and never saw this coming, and I don't believe that, or they knew it was going to happen and they're okay with it.
That's right. They just want a stampede of Mexican minors.
What they're really upset about is they thought they would get a free pass from many members of the Democratic media, and they haven't.
They haven't.
Oh, so there is coverage. Oh, so the media has been covering it. So you're just calling bullshit on what Trump said on Newsmax.
They've been caught.
Absolutely. And Senator,
they believe in open borders.
And
no, they don't. I mean, I hate to do this to you, Kennedy, but and the border is not open. Shall the border not be open by and by, Lord, by and by? Yeah, they clearly believe in open borders.
And no offense, Senator, I don't want them shooting my footage. We can do it ourselves. I'd rather them not edit our footage either. We could do that ourselves. We're fully staffed.
It would be a lot more intellectually honest if President Biden and his people would just come out and say, hey, America, we believe in open borders.
But they don't.
Used to it.
Senator Kennedy, I'd like to have you for the whole hour, but I couldn't afford your fee, so I'm going to have to let you go now. I can only pay you
couldn't afford your fee
for 11 minutes. Thanks so much, Senator. Have a great night.
Thanks, Brian.
For your comments.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, we only have a few minutes left. Oh, crap. I opened a page that's wrong. Oh,
and this finally, new rule, if you believe in the philosophy of equality of outcomes.
No, you can't. We're not doing this thing. No, you can't like auto-play something that's going to get me a copyright strike. And by the way, is this going on? Yeah. RSBN is doing a movie premiere of a Kevin Sorbo movie.
Marginalized, but I want to do it according to our Constitution.
Is it here? Do they have? Who's here? There he is. So what's the movie Leaders for Life? Tell us about what it's like. Wait, hold on. We'll back up. Leaders for Life. Oh, and what do you know? The whole thing's paid for by MyPillow. Shocking.
To pillows, to...
Oh, God. Let's see. Here they come.
Opportunities because of his beliefs and his undeniable right to make the decision to stand out more often, even in his career. Sam, it is so wonderful to see you again. It's wonderful to see you again, Kevin. Zoe. Yes, nice to meet you. All right. Well, I know that you guys had prior engagements to hear, but I'm glad to see that you all were able to.
So good that everybody's there at this, not so much a premiere as like a mini psycho CPAC. Are they selling... please tell me those are Kevin Sorbo's pieces of art, that he's big on painting cranes.
Sam and Kevin, go ahead and share with us your involvement with this documentary, with this film, and what message you're trying to get out. And of course,
tell us all about it.
Of course, we know it is a pro-life message, but how important it is to stay vocal about this.
Yeah, tell us about how we need to make more room for babies that are born in this country, and so we can't allow toddlers from Guatemala to cross the border. We need to strafe bomb it.
Well, I'll start.
I think you should. Yeah, please.
So the film came to me because Frank just reached out to me on my website and said, I'm doing this documentary. It's almost done. I'd love to show it to you. I'd love you to be involved. I'd love to interview you. I would love for you to be involved sort of at any level. And I recognized something in there that it was just so compelling that I signed up. I said, okay, I'll get involved. Let me see what I can do to help you out.
I've got a lot of free time.
See what I can do to. And
let me check my schedule. Yeah, I can do it. What time's good for you?
So we both were interviewed.
We were both free.
And then I got to kibitz a bit on how it was put together, and
thank you,
it
Roger.
morphed a little bit because his goal was to tell the story of abortion and how abortion itself is a lie.
Oh, abortion itself is a lie. So no one's actually aborted, I guess, is where we're going with this. No one's actually been aborted. There's no. I mean, people call it abortion, but is it really? It's not really abortion. Who gets aborted? I mean,
and it's built on lies.
Is it built on lies? Okay, so basically they're bringing children to life.
And I saw a greater.
Oh, I know what she's talking about. I didn't know what okay. So when she says it's a lie, she means their movement is a lie. I see. So they're not really pro-life. It's a lie because they don't really care about children once they're born, obviously. So why would you be pro-life? You're just pro, I guess, fetus to term and then screw them, right?
Picture to try to bring in the relevance of that because just because it's built on a lie, you go, well, then it's probably not very good. But it's bigger than that.
What?
It's that our nation is in crisis because we no longer value life.
We don't? Oh, you mean the Republican Party? I'm sorry. Yes, Christians and Right Side Broadcasting. No, they do not value life. That's right. There's one life they value, and of course that's John F. Kennedy Jr., who is still alive and will land, I guess, any moment now.
And that's one of the 3 building blocks that the entire nation is built on: the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
I see.
And so I wanted it to have that sort of larger, and that's why it's called Leaders for Life. How do you save a nation? And so that's how we got involved. And I just dragged him in. But he's been really big. He's a big voice in the pro-life movement. He's been there for years now.
I've been doing a lot of pro-life speaking for about 8 or 9 years now. So
obviously not pro-living, like, Head Start, pre and postnatal care for mothers, especially impoverished children, making sure that they get the care that they need, so people will choose abortion when they're impoverished less often, which would cut, basically just want to outlaw the activity instead of helping solve the problem that leads to the activity itself. But
it's something I'm very passionate about. I've got one I'm leaving for tomorrow already as well, and
it's great. It's basically a career. It's almost like I'm being paid.
When she came to me, she really had a lot to do with this in terms of editing and giving notes to Frank. I just, did my 2 bits when I was at home one day and just said what I had to say, and they kept some of it in the movie at least. But it was really, Sam, you were a driving force in getting this piece together as well.
This is Frank's movie.
It is Frank's
he's
movie.
done an
Totally, Frank. Yeah, thanks, Frank.
amazing job.
Amazing.
And we're just really
thrilled. You guys
thrilled.
worked hand in hand for a long, long time.
Yeah, but we're really...
Oh, really? Why was she spending so much time with Frank? That doesn't bother you, Kevin? While you were out of town doing your paid pro-life speeches, your wife is hanging out with Frank in a cozy edit bay, the glow of light washing over them.
We're thrilled to be here to support him, to support
and his paintings,
filmmaking by independent filmmakers, because
really independent.
Let's face it, the left has taken a very large role in the storytelling of the nation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would. And by the way, I don't know what she means by left. She probably means commies.
And that influences culture.
Yeah, it does. You mean we have a culture and you don't, and yeah.
And so we're seeing the influence now, and there's a way to change it back.
Yeah, change it back. That's the important thing. Not solve it, just change it back to, really the whole purpose of this movie is to get women and coat hangers back together.
And that way is to become the storytellers.
Right. That way you can lie about what you're doing and pretend like you give a shit.
And so we want to support independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
We
have the free time.
Do our own independent filmmaking, right? So
we were like, maybe if I do a bit for his thing, he'll shoot our stuff and nobody has to pay.
SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com if people want to support us.
No.
Or they can go to leadersforlifefilm.com.
.com. Leadersforlifefilm.com, not .org. So it's a money-making venture. I see. It's okay.
And support Frank.
Just clarifying. So it's not .org.
Frank and this mission in particular, and we need public engagement.
Yes, because no one is there to see it.
Because if we don't get it, we will lose the nation.
Exactly, and I want to focus more.
Totally.
So what you were touching on as far as getting involved more so in the...
You mean Frank? She was touching on Frank.
Entertainment industry and providing, basically taking away from what we have already experienced with the programming. So we are watching films, we are being told this story about how it is to be a certain type of way as far as making your own choices and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Living a selfish life. How important
I feel seen.
It is for us Christians to have a vital voice in this situation and use our gifts and talents to, again,
or lack thereof,
change the narrative and change the programming. But how can we get more involved? How can we
Can I be in your next movie?
Get more
that's what she's saying.
Focused on those issues and those topics, and again, showing those who are out there who are used to being programmed from the left in Hollywood and what they've done. How can
like shows like Hercules.
we again
Obviously
deprogram?
How do you deprogram people who've seen Hercules from? Yeah, okay. Oh, by him showing up in that shirt.
Deprogram. So I'll reference my new book called Words for Warriors, where I take on this idea.
Oh, warriors. You mean like people who fight and kill? Okay, so not so much life. I see.
Yeah, that we've been lied to, and the lies are ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't stop. The lies got to keep going otherwise.
And for instance, abortion is
you mentioned earlier.
It's child sacrifice.
It's child sacrifice. I didn't realize. I thought there was people terminating a pregnancy that they either would kill them or they couldn't afford to take care of, and instead of helping them on a societal level to be able to have and raise those children and not, be impoverished or worry about the health of themselves and that child during that process, that you could, a thing you could solve. It's really just child sacrifice. I see. Okay, good.
Let's call it for what it is, right?
Yeah, just call it child sacrifice. I mean, basically that's what happens. Every abortion, they just basically like lift it up to ball and.
But there are many lies, like there's.
Yeah, tell us another lie. This is good.
The lie that there's something known as right-wing fascists.
Oh. I didn't realize that was one of the lies. There's a lie that there's something called right-wing fascists.
Fascism is left-wing. There can't be right-wing fascism.
Oh dear.
Can't exist, and yet
it can't. Guys, you can't have right-wing fascism. Mussolini was straight up lefty.
The left has sort of taken this lie and drilled it home so much that we think that somehow there are people out on the fringe of the right wing that are overly violent.
Fascistic? Oh, they're not. No. We don't believe they're overly violent. We think they're just violent enough.
But we see the violence on the left.
Totally. Yeah, like on the 6th, that was incredible. Like clearly.
And we see the violence that's happening in our culture today. And immediately the narrative goes out, oh, it must be those right-wing fascists again.
Yeah, that's what I say.
And it never is. And it's always debunked.
Yeah, it's never. I mean, the 6th, that was all Antifa.
But it always...
Big, fat, white Antifa.
Comes too late. And so...
Well, some was Black Lives Matter. Some of the big, fat, white guys were also Black Lives Matter, let's be honest.
I wrote a book, Words for Warriors.
Yeah, warriors, right. People who fight and kill.
My husband's very much engaged in making...
helping you sell the book?
Making films. And for the average person, for people who aren't necessarily involved in filmmaking...
Yeah, below average, the average person, we're obviously above average.
There's the opportunity to support that and to not support the...
Not support what?
Entertainment ideals that you don't ascribe to, right?
Right, yeah, like gay rights and all right.
And so
women's rights, the ERA.
We have to be discerning in where we put our treasure.
Treasure, all right.
Where we place our faith.
Here's.
Tell them, Kevin, bring it. I can't take more of this.
Apathy is the killer right now in America.
Oh, I know, it's killing me right now. I am struggling to give a shit about what you're saying.
Too many people on the right have just given up.
Yeah, that's the problem with the right-wing fascists, is they just got no staying power. I mean, Frank does, but not everybody.
We need to match the passion of the left without the hate.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll never match the hate, obviously.
Without the anger, without the destruction.
Well, I think you, I don't know. Yeah, you might not be able to meet our destruction either.
Divisiveness, because we see what's being played out in major cities all across America right now.
Totally, yeah. Yeah. With black people, no offense.
Now, destruction of people's businesses, their homes,
Target,
lives, everything. And we need
their soup
to fight back in a way that that is not letting the left win this battle. We need to get out there and say, I'm enough to make a difference.
I am enough. You are enough. Gosh darn it.
Too many people say, well, the left owns everything. They own all the media. They own all the movies, television shows.
They're the most talented. They're most interesting. They're friendly. They've got a lot of friends around them. They're not, morbidly depressed. They know all the good fascists.
They don't.
They don't. No. They don't know all the best fascists. Tell them, Kevin.
Not true.
It isn't.
People need to get past what we kept saying earlier about the lie. These are all lies.
Yeah, ask Scott Baio. That's right.
But we're letting them win, and we can't let it do it.
Can't let them win. You got to get John Voight and you and Scott Baio and remake the Three Stooges, but with real injury. I'm kidding.
It's hurt my career in Hollywood.
That's hateful and destructive. It must be my left-leaning tendencies.
But I don't care.
Yeah, well, of course not.
I want to fight back, and we need people to get to that level of saying, you know what, I may lose some friends, but too bad. They weren't friends to begin with.
Well, then you didn't lose friends, I guess. Then what kind of friends do you have?
Exactly. You're exactly right. So
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm not just saying that because it's your thing.
just need to be more resilient and
Totally.
stay true to our foundation, which is the Word of God. And by that, He will protect us and give us success. And of course, we'll be able to reach out to those who God calls Himself to kind of change their perspective. And like what I said, deprogramming.
That's right. And get me into your movie.
I've noticed that we all have been.
You need like basically an interviewer that perhaps in your next film.
And I was homeschooled, and so we weren't allowed to watch certain movies, even some so-called Christian movies, because of course the enemy tries to sneak in where he can and try.
Yeah, you heard that right. She was homeschooled. She wasn't allowed to watch certain movies, and even some Christian movies, because that's where the enemy tries to sneak in. Holy hell. But please tell us again about deprogramming.
To influence, but I think what you guys are doing is very important. And
Yeah, I mean, with my limited experience. I mean, I've never seen Hercules because it's of Satan.
I'm excited to see what you have coming up again. Can you share with us where we can follow your new film producing company?
Yeah, the website you mentioned
Well,
earlier.
I've got a number of things coming up. It's a movie that actually opens Easter weekend, next weekend. It's called...
Is that Would God Be Mad?
Girl Who Believes in Miracles. Go to the...
It's called The Girl Who Believes in Miracles. And of course, Kevin plays the girl.
girlwhobelievesinmiracles.com.
Yeah, because it's a money-making venture, not org.
And I have another movie. I have the number one... Since we're in documentary land here, I have the number one documentary on Amazon right now. It's been out for 7 months called Before the Wrath. Go to beforethewrath.com. It's in the Book of Revelation. It's amazing. And also...
Yeah, it's incredible.
Go to againstthetide.movie. It's called Apologetics for Dummies Like Me. Againstthetide.movie. Check it out.
And they're really good. These are really good.
They're so good.
Movies, so we highly recommend them.
And I mean, if you're gonna talk about like where to see documentaries, Amazon is the place. I don't know if you guys have delved into the suggested Amazon ones. Like,
Also go to Sorbo.
Basically, it's the easiest place to just post one.
SorboFamilyFilmStudios.com, where you'll find a lot of this information. And my book is Words for Warriors. You can
apparently
get it on Amazon, but if you don't want to go to Amazon,
you can get, which you don't, because you can't. You have a blocker.
as many people are telling me, you can go to samsorbo.com for all that. And as you know, I'm a homeschool advocate, and so
That's right. You were homeschooling. Now, Trump said that people who are homeschooled are second-class citizens and are stupid and will come out stunted. But we both know that isn't. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry. The dude in the background looks like he's wearing a sock cap, he's wearing like a stocking mask as he walks
samsorbo.com
by.
for all that.
And that's just his head.
As you know, I'm a homeschool advocate.
Seriously.
And so if you go to samsorbo.com, lots of
It looked like he was wearing literally like a stocking over his head.
tips and tricks for how to get it done and sort of initiate
The uninitiated?
those new to the fold. And
The uninitiated?
oh yeah, I'm a big
Initiate the uninitiated?
advocate. Christian people, you must get your kids out of government schools.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
If you want your children
America sucks. Oh, thank you so much, Bettina.
to worship God, don't send them to a school that teaches them to worship governments, okay?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I went to public school. I don't worship government. I view it as a form of material management for society at best, where we try to, make sure that, there's a yellow line in the street so people aren't crashing into each other, that kind of shit. But I don't worship government.
Okay. Go to publicschoolexit.com.
I don't, publicschoolexit.what?
.com.
Oh, it's a money-making industry. I see.
If you want more information about that.
Yeah, It's for a very small fee, and just get on our newsletter list, and there you can.
Now, I do, just before you go, I do want to ask you a question regarding homeschooling. Have you found it hard to kind of
To homeschool during the pandemic?
Homeschool your children, but not have to face the consequences from state and government? Because that is something that my mother had to go through with us.
The whole Earth being round thing.
Possibly being taken away at the time because they saw it as child endangerment, child abuse, because we were not enrolled in public school.
No, you can homeschool, but your kid can't turn out to be a moron. You actually have to educate them.
Did you all run into any problems with that?
No, because they have a tutor and they pay for homeschooling people for their kids.
No, we did most of our homeschooling in California. Now we live in Florida. Those are both very hands-off states.
Oh, yeah, really. California is a very hands-off state as far as I
every state is different. So I would just, look at the law and then decide if it's worth following the law or if your children are more valuable than that.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Got to get our children out of the public school system and go ahead and...
The public hole system? The what? Sorry?
Exactly. You're exactly right. Got to get our children out of the public school system and go...
Maybe you should have been in the public whole system.
Go ahead and teach them the way God ordained it for it to be orchestrated. But again...
Not the best ad for it right now. I'm just saying.
And thank you guys so much for your time. And again, enjoy the movie.
And not just because it has nothing to do with, like, I'm sure she's decent at math, possibly, but clearly an issue with interacting with other human beings that might be related to not interacting with other kids.
And I'll see you all afterwards. All right. So it looks like Brian has someone that will
oh my gosh.
Be coming on with us, possibly.
We're about to walk inside.
Oh my God.
And watch.
You got to point the mic at him.
It's the speakers, so we're going to kind of follow you. Take us. You know what? You haven't seen the red carpet yet.
Come on, guys. You have to come take a peek at this place. So obviously it has filled in within the past hour or so.
Yeah, it's crazy. No masks.
So we are about to enter into the auditorium here. We have, of course, as Joe
the auditorium
brings the camera over, we have a lot of activists here.
Really? Weird.
Again, some of the people I've spoken with, Elliot, his organization, Expectant Fathers Without a Voice.
Expectant Fathers Without a Voice.
We also have Melissa and her organization that she started.
The Midford, where are they?
Melissa and her organization that she started.
The Mid-Florida Event Center.
Pro-life based off of her personal experience would almost make
being alive
the worst decision of her life and jumping off of that abortion table and not killing her child.
Yipe.
But again, we are here in Port St. Lucie, Florida, here to preview
the COVID super spreader event.
Leaders for Life documentary with just spoken to Kevin Sorbo and his wife Sam, who have a
so great
part in this, and also Flip and him and his son Jason and David as well.
Oh, I mean, you want to get close. It's quite the theater. It's not at all like we're all gathering in a giant living room to watch a big TV. Good God.
As you all see, we have reached...
Oh, at least they have side ones.
Side of the auditorium, and we are expecting to hear from some speakers.
Turnout's amazing.
Kevin mentioned earlier. But speakers like Elliot Cohn, he will be on.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I really would love to hang out, but I really gotta bail because I'm over time right now. But I really would be excited if I could get with later. But just at some point maybe call me with just let me know what happened. By the way, can I just show you real quick? This is let me find one thing. And thanks, guys, for the new patrons. Bless you. And everybody who's super chatted and the stars and everything today. Thank you so much. If I haven't mentioned, because I've been doing this silliness. But there's more stuff to deal with than we have time for. It's amazing how at one point I was like, well, now that Trump's not giving speeches, we'll probably, the show will be shorter. Nope. It's almost like there's more insanity because of this crap. That said, I just want you to see what I watch when I'm having to deal with a lot of this crap. Thank you, Jill Carter. There's a history. Let me see if I can bring this up. Library. And this is the, so let's see where it is. History, there it is. See all, and then I pull this up, and then I scroll back through here, and yikes. And then, there she is. Okay, Kat Kerr, hold on. Nope, you're not going to say it, Kat. Kat Kerr, many of you will know, is the sherbet-headed prophet for profit that we see sometimes. And she's been wrong about everything. She's just terrible. She and Hank Kunneman are like jockeying for like dipshit of the year. And they're all convinced that everything is about to turn all the time. Like it is, the Lord works in mysterious ways, except when she points it out, and he's doing exactly what she said, and you should be, yes, it's the cotton candy lady. We're not going to do a lot of it, but I want you to see a little slice of hell that I go through when I'm prepping for the show, and the kind of stuff I'm like scanning through. Check this out. So beautiful, my idol. Somebody else is put this in, by the way. She didn't make that graphic.
And being so happy.
First of all, she's got a pin on her blouse that says, "I don't do demons." And she's wearing here, I have to shrink this down a little so you can see more of what's in the shot. So, here, let me drag this over. So, hold on, here we go. Sorry. So, she's jammed up next to this tree in this other chair, but she's wearing this, like, American flag shawl. And she's got, not only she got a button that says, "I don't do demons," she's got a tumbler that says, "I don't do demons too." Like she must sell these things when she's out.
Hope you are.
Yipes. And by the way, she's very loud in this one because you can tell that she's very excited because everything is going according to plan. Yes.
By the way,
I
just want to start out by saying I have talked to several of my prophet friends.
How are they doing?
Just to make sure they're celebrating, and guess what? They are. They haven't all jumped ship.
They haven't all jumped ship? No? There's a couple of them left?
Hope you haven't jumped ship. If you have, we'll throw you a life raft. Anyway, I had to, of course, come on. I'm going to come on every other day, as long as we're still up.
Everybody's still up. We're still excited.
I'll still be speaking.
Me.
And guess what? I'm running forward with my race.
What race would that be? Humicorn?
Running forward with life, with joy, with celebration, and with God and His plans.
All right, good. I'm glad you got trust the plan.
And yes, according to the title of this post, the shaking has begun.
The shaking has begun. I would say it's been going on for quite some time because her prophecy has been pretty fucking shaky for a while.
And I'm serious about that.
I bet.
I'll tell you why I'm excited. You should
Why are you excited?
Go back and look at on Elijah Streams. The broadcast we did on November the 4th.
Yeah, when you said Trump would be president, he was going to win that day, and hands down and praise Jesus and all that stuff, and it didn't happen when Trump lost, and he.
And what God Himself had to say about all of this.
What'd He say?
Guess what? He didn't.
What?
Give a date. And I'm not giving a date.
He didn't give a date? Really? Kat, you haven't given dates repeatedly? Suddenly you're not giving dates?
Never have given a date. I let God choose His time because
totally.
Man has their own time frame. Some people can wait a few days, some a couple of weeks, but man, I don't think anybody can go past a month.
Yo, what? Oh, thanks. Oh, and unsweet tea. That's excellent.
Except the ones who really know what God said.
Which is?
And I can tell you what God's doing. Yes, there is a line being drawn.
Yeah.
Who will believe him and stand with him, and who he can use and accelerate in these powerful days ahead, and who will have to catch up. So I hope you're not on the catch-up side.
Definitely.
That could mean several things. I won't go there.
I'm sorry. Was that a hot dog reference?
However, I do want to tell everyone hello.
Hello.
All you people who are still standing with what God said, I celebrate.
Some people are flat on their back, Kat. Really. A lot of them are been wiped out. They're all over the floor here. They've been waiting for you to figure this shit out, and it's not panned out so far. So a lot of them aren't still standing, but it's not like they didn't give it the old college try.
I congratulate you. You have blessed the heart of God that you're not giving up your stand.
No, you are not.
We all know what the Bible says.
What does the Bible say?
When you make a stand, stand there for. You also know what it says, right?
When you make a stand there for, what does it say?
You're going forward in the kingdom, don't step back.
Yeah, when you're going forward in the kingdom, don't step back. That's Sherbert, book 1, scoop 2.
Or what?
Or what?
You will not be fit, in shape, or ready for the kingdom.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, that's from the Beachbody book, verse P, chapter P, verse 90X.
So there you go.
She's not Linda Blair's cousin.
That's God's words to you. I hope.
Yeah, they are.
Hope you all who switched and jumped to the side of darkness, and that's all there is dark.
Only Master of Evil doth.
Darkness and light right now. Get out of there while you can, and be one of the ones who made a stand that you can celebrate and run in the streets and shout and yell. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of shouting and yelling in the streets. It's true.
Because life will win.
All right.
God always says to choose life, stand with life, participate with
No, I thought that was Frankie Goes to Hollywood, wasn't it? No, I'm sorry, it was Wham.
Life, not
That's right.
Not the other side.
No, don't choose Andrew Ridgely, George Michael the whole way.
You remember we prayed for Mark Zuckerberg, right? So he knows.
Oh, did we?
He still has a chance to switch back and do what he did when he started all this.
You mean running ads for Trump and getting paid in rubles? Having an algorithm on Facebook that automatically creates Facebook pages for neo-Nazis and white supremacist groups? You guys think I'm kidding, right? Hold on. I mean, this is kind of a side leap, but let's see. Facebook Nazi pages. Let me see where they are. Let me find it. Yeah, here you go. Just in case you were wondering. Yeah, you don't even have to set yours up. When there's an algorithm, basically, if you set to get up a chat room on another site, it'll create a page for you automatically. But please tell us again about Mark Zuckerberg. Wait, that's not. That's the wrong one. Where is she? Oh yeah, Kat. There she goes. Okay.
He designed and made a wonderful place for all of us to come and fellowship together.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to do with Facebook.
Get to see different pictures and videos and laugh and enjoy them and
watch cat videos and get tips on Sherbert hair.
Enjoy life.
And figure out how to that one video I had about hanging your angel wings right side up. That didn't work out so well.
And something happened to
Uh-oh.
him. Please be praying for him, okay?
Clearly. Demons.
This is a great place to do social networking, and that's why it was designed. But you can't let them ban you because you want God or you want what is right or you
Yeah, that's never been a problem.
want life. And some of them who don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
You don't realize what you're saying.
They don't know what
when
you're
you don't
saying.
want to be on the other side, and not the side God has chosen.
Right.
If you think he's run away and he's hiding somewhere in heaven, that is not true.
Okay, that's great. Why do you speak like an 8-year-old?
Did you feel the ground shake yet?
No.
Because you will.
Okay. Well, I mean, I spent a good deal of time in San Bernardino Valley and L.A. and San Francisco, that kind of general areas. You get a lot of, sooner or later, I suppose.
You remember on November 4th, God himself said, when the ground begins to shake, get ready for the landslide.
Oh, okay. Burn it down.
To expose everything.
Oh, my God. Remind me to wear underwear.
And you know what God's plans are. You've heard me
Well, why would I know? I mean, obviously...
say it from the very beginning.
You're that old?
From 2015.
Oh, I didn't realize you're that young.
Guess what? He's not changed his plan.
No, he hasn't?
What he is doing is exposing all the darkness. He's going to clean that platform.
Oh, I see. So he put Trump in office to expose darkness because he figured if you make somebody like Trump president, clearly people will recognize the evil that is among us.
Off. No matter where they are, what they're saying, what they're doing, God's preparing us for the next 20 years of greatness.
Awesome. Very exciting.
No, you don't have to get used to wearing masks for the rest of your life.
No, no one is.
You don't have to social distance for the rest of your life.
Nobody's saying you have to.
God intends to actually take the virus off the earth.
Really? Using Joe Biden?
Maybe he'll put it with the other ones who were running away. I don't know. I just know this. I know what God's plans are. He hasn't changed them. No. And unless he tells me differently, I am not changing my stand.
No.
I will be right here.
Yeah, right here, not doing demons.
Releasing justice. Releasing the host of heaven. And by the way,
don't forget our raffle.
Yesterday, released 50 billion of the host of heaven. And if you did not know this, God calls Florida, over the skies of Florida, he calls it his battle station on earth. What does that mean?
Florida is his battle station on earth? I thought it was his waiting room.
That means there are billions of the hosts posted there to be sent out on assignment.
Wait, the angels are descending on Florida to await further instruction?
And he had me send 50 billion. Yes, people, he has a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to have at least, 6 per people?
No,
you can't turn people to the light unless you have like 9 angels with you in a headlock.
One knows but him. You haven't counted them.
No, I wouldn't presume to. I mean, obviously, I would need... What do I do? Do I just throw dust around the room and that's how I'll know they're there, like the Invisible Man? Maybe I could get a paintball gun?
You haven't even seen them.
I probably haven't seen invisible things.
Be hiding if you had.
Yeah. What?
The host of heaven are not beautiful, pretty boys with blonde hair and harps. They have weapons coming out of them.
Oh, gee, I thought they were lovely harp-playing angels, but apparently they're like RoboCop angels?
The frequency of God, the fire of God. They fight with lightning bolts.
All right. Oh, over the remote? Or why are they fighting with lightning bolts? Oh, they use lightning bolts to fight. I see. I was mistaken. I thought they were kind of like fighting with lightning, because that's obviously within the realm of possibility when you're talking about invisible beings. But I'm sorry, keep going.
And guess what?
What?
Some of the ones who've been assigned now are the same ones who fought in the flesh on behalf of Israel. Go back and read it in the Bible.
Really? The same ones? Can we get autographs?
How one angel took out so many hundreds of thousands, it shocked them all.
Did it?
We have some of those fighting with us.
How many? Like, just percentage. Obviously, there weren't 50 billion back then. There's only like 9 angels get name checked in Genesis.
I enjoy commanding the host of heaven.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it's because do what you love and the money will come.
They enjoy going on assignments.
Do they? Really? Do you send them to the store for like cigarettes?
They need orders from headquarters, and let me tell you, headquarters in heaven.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in Florida. I was mistaken.
Is very excited about these days.
Yeah, well, they would be. I mean, obviously being post-temporal and beyond the scope of space-time, you would really give a shit about, Wednesday.
I know you've heard several times different people sending things around. I'm sure some of it's conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Some of it's just being made up to make you feel better. Some of it's actually the real thing.
Yeah, some of it. But, I mean, don't tell us which. It's much more fun this way.
You should decide on what you think it is.
Okay, good. All right, maybe I will. But how do I know if it's not just me being led around by... Oh, because I'm being wrestled by 9 angels with lightning bolts. I see.
I just say this. Get
okay, just say that.
Plenty of supplies, including cake.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. That's what you want to... In case of an emergency, you want to fill your bunker. Screw cans of beans. Spam. Fuck spam. Cake. Cake or death.
And maybe for a couple weeks or so.
Yeah, a couple of weeks of cake. How many cakes is that? Christ, if nothing else, do I have how much cake are 2 weeks worth of cake? I mean, are we partying every day? Or are we just saying, all right, I'll let myself have one slice, but I mean, a moment on the lips, an eternity on the hips, I suppose.
Just to save you a trip to the grocery store.
Thank you, yeah, because that's where I get my cake, is the grocery store. Grocery store, that's what, the Lord did demand of them an offering of sheet cake from Kroger.
This is not a time for death and destruction for us.
No, it's a time for cake.
This is not a time for civil war.
This is time for cake.
In a civil war, you have to have a divided nation.
We don't have a divided nation. We got cake and angels with lightning bolts.
Have a pocket.
In Florida, we're not divided. Apparently, it's the entire United States against Florida and the violent angels who've been sent here to, I guess, outnumber us all.
The people who'd rather have communism. Here,
all right.
I said it. The rest of us, almost 80 million of us. That's the majority, in case you can't count.
340 million people in the United States. Almost 80 million. Majority. I'm going to have to get back to you on the math. I'm really in a faith mode right now.
We want life, liberty, freedom, justice, and right.
Release the cake and...
righteousness in this nation, and
totally.
We are going to get it.
That's right. In the form of cake. All right.
If God can save a world when 8 people are praying, how much do you think he can do with millions of people praying?
Well, he could probably save the universe. I mean, will there be a Christian colony on Mars?
For this nation, for its destiny, and also the impact that will have around this world. There are millions and millions of people praying and agreeing with you.
Oh, are there now? Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. That's true. While you're close to almost 80 million, the people who are praying on my side of the argument, there's 81 million plus, I would say, that are praying my direction, for sensible gun regulations and, making healthcare more available and making sure kids get pre-K and shit like that, Yeah, there's stuff worth praying for, I think.
You shouldn't do is begin to bash one another.
No.
You're speaking the enemy's words.
Yeah, totally. Don't shit on prophets just because they've been wrong.
I'll bash evil all day long.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not going to bash the ones he made.
No.
God sends people to this earth. They're already anointed. They're already appointed.
They're anointed and appointed. Oh, pointy birds. Oh, pointy, pointy. Anoint my head. Anointy.
I happen to be just one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not just one of them, though, Kat. I mean, the hair's magic, the shawl. I don't do demons. I mean, you got the whole package.
But I will not lose my stand, and I will not back up.
Oh. I was so hoping you would go full Tom Petty.
Because these are powerful days. If people say, what's going on? They're powerful days. And when the hand of your God is about to move for you, yes, you can sit and eat cake and watch.
Yeah, but...
You've prayed.
Yeah, you've prayed, you've done your part. Have some fucking cake.
You've read your word, you've laid on your face, you've cried out to God.
You what? I'm sorry. I read my word, but what am I supposed to do after I read my word?
Watch. You've prayed, you've read your word,
right.
You've laid on your face.
I've laid on my face. Oh my. Why am I laying on... How am I supposed to lay on my face? Lord, Just say that it's all of the Lord. All right.
Cried out to God. Guess what? He heard you.
Oh, good. I thought I sounded muffled. The Lord answered my prayers. What did he give you? All of it? Yeah. Lay it on your face. What? I don't know.
You're not going to ignore your words when they line up with his.
Yeah.
When your words line up with his, they create something that no man and no devil can stop.
Oh, so women can stop it? Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thanks. I'll put that. Yeah.
So this is what we have to say.
Okay, do it. Uh-oh. Why does she have a big... I thought the stick was a tree. Honest to God, I thought that was a tree. I thought that was just set dressing. It's a giant staff. If she turns that shit into a snake, I'm becoming a believer right now. Although I'll have to watch it several times to make sure it wasn't a green screen effect.
Go, host, make toast!
Go, host, make toast? I'm sorry. I don't speak Chippewa. You what now?
Go, host, make toast!
Well, sure. Okay. What? All right. Thank God somebody topped Rand Paul's ridiculousness. I have no idea what that means. Do you want toast or cake? I'm just concerned about your carb intake. Is what?
Go, host, make toast!
Yeah, absolutely. Why is the big key on there? And why? All right, never mind.
I can tell you that they were released 50 billion the other day. Today, 10 more billion. God had me
60 billion?
Release to key points in this country and key points around the world to be
So do they land in Florida and then they have a connecting flight?
ready.
Right.
What can they do?
I don't know.
They can expose things.
Oh boy.
They can speak to people and change the way that they're thinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they expose themselves,
they can say things of God to their spirit, just like the devil says to yours.
Does he now?
If you're hearing it's all over, let's just give it up. You're hearing the wrong voice.
Yeah, totally. I'm not hearing that. I'm saying that to you, though, but all right.
The shaking has surely begun that God spoke of on November the 4th.
Shake me all night.
When he said, when the ground begins to shake, get ready for the great exposure.
Oh, boy. If she flashes us, I'm out.
The landslide of exposure that...
Landslide of exposure. That's her talking stick. Don't question her. It's how she makes toast.
Will happen.
What happened?
He's not changing who he has chosen.
No, not at all. Why would he rethink choosing you as his messenger? What could be... I mean, it's going so well.
Keep in the White House. And it doesn't matter to me when God finishes what he's going to start.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to start. So he hasn't started it. So he didn't start it with Trump. So he hasn't started Trump. I see.
I am celebrating with him.
Sure. Cake.
He took me forward in time again.
Oh, my God.
Today.
Oh, man. And apparently he Steve Rogers you. You continued to go through time and then you ended up...
And showed me people running into the streets in America laughing. They forgot if they didn't like someone of another color. Nobody cared.
Yeah, nobody cared that they don't like people of another color. What?
They were so happy.
They were so happy they forgot to be racist on your side of people. Because she's not talking about our side.
And joyful. They were grabbing. They were hugging each other without masks.
And they were exposed.
Masks, people.
They were hugging each other without masks. Oh.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
Because freedom and liberty had come to this country.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. I know. Biden's doing a solid job.
And then he took me and showed me different places around the world when this landslide is done.
Okay, all right.
They were running into the streets. They were grabbing one another, laughing. They were...
Well, yeah. So they are Trump's supporters. I see. Because they're running in the street grabbing one another, clearly.
Dancing, they were
That's how they say hello.
celebrating. That is your future.
Okay.
So don't give up.
No. Keep sending your money to Cat Kerr.
Don't step back.
Don't step back unless you're hokey pokeying, in which case, follow the usual instructions.
And don't take any fear.
Don't take any fear. Well, take 2 fears and call me in the morning.
The only ones who should be afraid
Uh-huh.
are the ones who committed crime.
Oh, all right. Well, that once who committed... Oh, so John Jr.'s fucked is what you're saying.
I'll tell you who is afraid.
Uh-oh. Who's afraid?
Hell.
I'm afraid? Did she say I'm afraid?
Committed crime. I'll tell you who is afraid.
Who's afraid?
Hell.
Oh, my God. I'm afraid. That's incredible. Oh, okay, she's saying hell. But still...
I've seen demons quaking everywhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't they be?
They're terrified.
The demon of hell.
Of what is about to happen.
Uh-huh. What's about to happen?
They know what's going on. They know
They know. Absolutely. I mean, they're in on it.
the hosts have been loosed on this earth.
The hosts have been loosed. There's some loose hosts.
They know what
The hose is loosed.
they've even been assigned to. They're running.
Yeah. Well, they have wings. They could just fly. I don't know why they're running. Maybe it's just to keep fit. It's all that cake, goddammit.
Why not sit down?
Why not?
Get your popcorn. And
Wait, popcorn and toast and cake? Bitch, do you eat anything that isn't like high glycemic index carbohydrates? Christ.
enjoy the show. Because it's going to be great. People one day will make a movie of all this.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And people will roar and laugh and
The
clap
Demons of Hal should be a new shirt. Absolutely.
at the end.
Uh-huh.
That's what you should be doing.
That's what I should be doing. Okay.
And Jen has a report to give. A very short report.
Who the fuck is Jen?
About what God said on November the 4th when the ground begins to shake.
Uh-huh.
Get ready for the landslide to happen. So she's going to come and share with you all just a couple of earthquakes that have taken place over the last couple days, and especially the one that happened on the 4th. There you go, Jen. Come here.
Jen, come on into the show. Whatever. Let's cut to... Yeah, okay. Go. Ready, camera one. Go, camera one.
I'll just stand over here.
Okay, go ahead and say it loud then.
Ready, camera none. Go, camera none.
There were quite a lot of things that happened, especially on the 4th.
Yeah, totally.
I pulled up an article, and I'm trying to find it.
Great. Good job so far, Jen. I mean...
Yeah, it's the world...
She's not happy. Look at her shoot that
Cool.
look.
And I'm trying to find it.
Grumble.
Yeah, it's the World Earthquake Report for Monday, January 4th,
Yeah. Psh, demons.
2021.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that there were
That's
10...
January 4th and November 4th.
January 4th.
January the 4th, okay.
Yeah.
Not November 4th. She asked you for November 4th, Jen.
And
Jen. You're supposed to help her. No cake.
Says
no cake for you.
10 of the largest earthquakes in the world happened, and it just lists all the different ones, and then the ones that were felt were
Yeah, the largest ones that were felt.
places like Croatia.
Yeah, totally. Where the good as Florida.
And let's see, there was a couple in Croatia, there was one in South Dakota, there was New Zealand and Puerto Rico, and if you just go and you can literally...
all places where, Christy Nome aside, demons live.
Literally see every day from
You're upsetting Kat, Jen.
on this website, including, and then when she was talking about when she sent the host out.
Uh-huh. I know this is longer than usual, but I have to. This is better than I thought it would be. 220, 221, whatever works.
Yesterday. How many did you send out?
50 billion.
50.
50 billion. Is that how? Okay, so it takes 5 billion to create 1 earthquake, 10 earthquake.
Billion.
You'd hear that.
Yeah, you would.
Well, it's crazy because I pulled up an article this morning when I opened up
Weird.
the internet, and the first thing it said was, South Florida residents report shaking. No official reports of earthquake or explosions. And it happened in areas like Broward County, Miami-Dade, Monroe counties, also in Coral Springs.
Oh yeah, totally. Hold on. I don't know why I'm checking this, but I need to know. Okay, Florida shaking. Oh, I see. So she's basically talking about shit that happened, and then she's backdating it. South Florida reports shaking. No official reports of earthquake. That's yeah. Oh my God! It's like 50 billion of them all landed at once. This was the sound of them hitting the earth. Reports of unexplained shaking rattles South Florida residents on Friday. Did you
feel a mysterious shaking or tremble yesterday afternoon?
Yes, I did. It was the Lord.
If you did, you're not alone. People from Key Largo to West Kendall, Weston, and Coral Springs all reported windows and glass doors shaking and feeling some sort of a tremor.
Weird.
This video sent to us by a woman in Kendall Lakes. In it, you can see from her home surveillance video, she gets up and even goes to check on her sliding glass doors to see what that rattling was all about. Well,
and her cats are like, I don't give a shit.
The city of Weston tweeted there was no explosion and even cited the reports of rumbling in several other counties.
Amazing.
They also didn't have any information on just what caused the feeling.
Well, it was obviously 50 billion angels landing all at once. What are you, stupid?
And just various people were reporting that their house started shaking. This dad was working.
It's almost as if it happened last week, and she's saying it's starting now because there were reports of it.
With his son doing virtual school when their chairs started to shake, and then
So just exactly what I said. I prophesied this thing that happened before I brought it up.
the rest of the family came running in the room asking what was that, because he thought, am I imagining this? They went outside.
Like, no, it's like 50 billion angels all falling out of the sky at once.
To see if it was like a big truck. There was no big truck. They've checked all the
everything.
Seismographs, the geographical whatever people that check for
the geographical whatever people. That good old homeschooling.
for earthquakes. There's no reports, nothing.
No.
None of the graphs moves, none of
Look, Jen's fingers.
the things. And then they said, well, maybe because there was a lot of military, that maybe they were testing the jets, because when they do the sonic boom,
it's a big rumble.
but they contacted the military bases in the area, and they said, no, we did all our jet testing on Thursday. Nothing was done on Friday.
Right.
So at the
It's almost like she read those stories and talked about them after they had happened, and are convinced. All right, I'm sorry, I'm losing faith.
very end of the article, it says the official cause of the shaking and rumbling is not yet known.
Yeah, because you can't see the host leave.
So
You can't see him leaving.
But you can sure hear them.
You can just hear him.
So I did share the article and the link, but there has been a tremendous amount of activity.
Totally, yeah.
Like I even
Croatia, Florida.
Googled earthquake January 12th. There was
Really? You Googled earthquake January 12th, and what happened?
a magnitude 2.9 earthquake in Utah.
That's right.
That's right. I'm sorry, how big?
So something is happening.
Sorry, a magnitude what?
That does
in Utah. January 12th, there was a magnitude 2.9 earthquake
2.9. Ouch. Did anyone not sleep through it?
in Utah.
That's right.
And then
That does not mean God will destroy with earthquakes. That's letting you know something is happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's just he's got a slight tickle.
yeah, and if you even do earthquakes for today,
Oh my God, this is killing me. I can't do any more of this. I gotta go. Like, Kat, end this. Bring it home. Let's do the last 30 seconds of this thing. Come on, Kat. Let us have it.
I so appreciate it. Guess what? Your gifts are arriving.
Oh, all right. She's asking for money.
We'll be sending them out. We're waiting on one more thing to come.
Mm-hmm.
This is because the Father's speaking. He wants it clear.
Yeah.
He is not giving this country away.
No, he's not. Absolutely. He's selling it at a premium.
He's already touched it.
Oh yeah. Well, you can't return it or give it away if you've touched it already. It voided the warranty.
And laid his hand on it.
Yummy.
And you will see the results very soon.
Uh-oh. Make host, not toast.
Go host, make toast, go justice! Woohoo! We will see you later.
Oh Lord. What is she do? I can't. I swear to God, how in the world? And you have to understand that video, can I just, again, this has a lot to do with why I bring this stuff up. You're like, who's this nutcase lady? Who cares? Right? What difference does it make? Just this version of this video, this isn't even her channel. This is somebody else also posting it. 53,343 views. Watch this whole damn thing. This dude who posts her stuff, that's not, again, not even her main channel, has 167,000 subscribers. So, I mean, you and I look at this and this woman is a harmless lunatic. But you have to understand, she has reach. This is messed up. These are some dangerous fuckers. And in the world of the Q crowd, she's one of the linchpins, along with Hank Kuhneman and the Christian zone of it that cover for the rest, that crowd. And the bakers that put together the muffins of truth or whatever the shit. This is, you have to understand, there's a huge amount of influence that these folks have. This dude, where is it? Look at this. This is,
I said, Lord, this.
I'm not going to play this for you, but this is just dumb. Hold on. Look at this. This is from Destiny Image. This site has 144,000 subscribers to the prophetic word. They've got enough. They're selling T-shirts. They've got videos they're putting. That's this guy. Remember him? Yeah. Mario Murillo. This dude. 127,000 views for this video. I mean, that's almost 1-to-1 with the subscribers. That's seriously linkage. That's real viewers. There's a bunch of these puff piece pages like Trump has and stuff where they buy bots and all this kind of stuff. This is 1-to-1 real people watching this nonsense. And it is a huge impact on the QAnon crowd. He's in the middle of the street. He is. Well, he was Rand Paul told him to cross the street. He's actually, if you look at it, he's in San Francisco. He's in the middle of the street in San Francisco. Read into that what you will. But the reason I bring these folks up every so often, as amusing as they are, is because they have a legit reach within this crowd. And there's this trickle where you'll hear shit she says, and people at Mario and Hank and all that crowd and the Victory channel and all that, and the Flashpoint crowd, you'll hear stuff that they say parroted back to you later on social media everywhere. It's brutal. So anyways, just letting you know on that. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much. Don't forget, tomorrow show is an hour later because I have family FaceTime, so I pushed the show a little bit. And then Friday's show, I will be in San Francisco area. I'll be in Alameda for the comedy show. And I'll be, the show will be high and tight because I got to get over the showroom and do the show at 6 o'clock. So if I'll start at 3, the regular time, and I'll try and go to 5 even, and then blaze a trail over there and then talk for 4 more hours because, that's what I love to do. AlamedaComedy.com is the show, and they have links to, you can watch it from home if you want to. If you're in the area, please come down and let me know, especially if you're a patron, let me know that you're coming, and I'll bring some of the blue patches with me, as I always do. And if I run into you guys and you're a patron, I'll just give you your patch in person, and then you can bring a guest in for free. Just let me know. So I will see you guys tomorrow at the irregular time, and have a wonderful night. Thanks for hanging out with me. I did not expect us to go long with the cat thing. I thought we were just going to peek at it for a second, but you know me. It's my Midwestern goodbyes. What are you going to do? Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.